Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Taking the Baby for a Physical Examination. Arriving at the hospital, Lin Feng and his companions instantly attracted the attention of the people around them. 2 beauties, a handsome guy, and 4 cute babies. It is hard not to notice such a combination of gods. Before coming, Zhang Yuxi had already taken a number. So the 3 of them took the baby and went directly to the physical examination room to give the baby a physical examination. After the baby is born, about 10 physical examinations are required. The first physical examination is when the baby is born. The second physical examination is 28 days after birth. The third physical examination is 42 days after birth. The fourth physical examination is 4 months after birth. And this time, it is the 5th physical examination, which is 6 months after the baby is born. This physical examination mainly weighs weight, measures height, measures head circumference, measures chest circumference, tests vision, tests hearing, checks motor development, oral examinations, and blood tests. The purpose of the blood test is mainly to see if the baby is anemic. The doctor in the physical examination room happened to be the doctor who vaccinated the baby last time. She remembered the quadruplets clearly. "Hey, you're here. I'll write you a test form, you go pay the fee first. Then go to the laboratory on the 4th floor to draw blood for the test, and when the results come out, bring them to me." Lin Feng said to Lan with the form. "I'll go pay the fee, you help use I look after the baby." And Lan nodded, "Okay." After weighing and measuring the height, Lin Feng took the payment form and went to the laboratory on the 4th floor. Wherever the 4 babies went, they were the focus of everyone's attention. There were other babies here who were drawing blood, crying miserably. Their cries could be heard throughout the floor. Sibao was very touched when he heard it, and he also started to cry. When he cried, Erbao, who was watching the fun, also cried. Erbao cried, and Sanbao also cried. Only Dabao looked indifferent. In addition to being afraid of water, Dabao's tolerance for pain is still very strong. Seeing this scene, Anlan smiled and sighed. It is said that yawning is contagious. I didn't expect that babies crying can also be contagious. The couple coaxed the baby. As soon as they finished coaxing, it was the baby's turn to have their blood drawn. Seeing this, the doctor joked, "Oh, it's too early to cry." Of course it's too early not to cry. The baby's tears haven't dried yet, and their little fingers were pricked. The doctor was very fast, and before the babies could react, the blood drawing was over. The result was that 4 confused faces looked at Zhang Yuxi stupidly. And Lan took out her mobile phone and captured this funny scene. I want to make this photo into an emoticon package. The name is 4 Confused Faces. Ha ha ha. The test results will take 2 hours to come out. Lin Feng took the 2 girls to a lounge and waited quietly inside. Zhang Yuxi took out a bottle and fed the 2nd and 3rd babies. Lin Feng changed the diapers for the 1st and 4th babies and helped them wipe their butts. And Lan followed Zhang Yuxi like a maid and helped her. Erbao, you must repay your godmother in the future. When you grow up, buy a villa for your godmother. Then Lan looked at Sanbao again, "You and then buy your godmother a sports car." Zhang Yuxi glared at her and said speechlessly, "Aren't you going to give birth to quadruplets too? Why don't you let them buy you one?" And Lan rolled her eyes, "Let's talk about it when I have money. Then I will give birth to 10 babies directly, to make everything perfect. No, the 12 zodiac signs. Or the 24 solar terms." Zhang Yuxi frowned, "You are still awesome. That's a must. Who am I? If you don't give birth, you must make a big splash in your life." With Lan's hushing. After drinking milk, the babies gradually fell asleep, but Dabao was still awake. And Lan sighed, "This Dabao is really energetic. He wakes up the earliest and goes to bed the latest. I wonder how he does it." Zhang Yuxi shook her head, "I don't know either." 2 hours later, the test results came out. Lin Feng walked to the machine and printed out the test reports of the babies. "I'll take it to the doctor. Go quickly." Soon, Lin Feng came back with the test reports. The doctor said there's no problem, the baby's indicators are all normal. Zhang Yuxi breathed a sigh of relief, "Then let's go back." On the way back, Zhang Yuxi found that Lin Feng was driving in the opposite direction. Honey, where are you going? I'll take you to the Southern New District. There are many shops there. Southern New District? I've been in Guangzhou for so long, but I've never been there. Then I'll take you there today. Well, if you come back late, let's eat outside. Okay. The popularity of the Southern New District. Naturally, it can't be compared with the old city. While driving, Lin Feng said, I saw on TV that the government will vigorously develop the Southern New District. As the vanguard of the entire Bay Area, a university town will be built here. When I was in high school, I heard that the Southern New District was being planned, and it is now built very well. And the location of Wanda Plaza. It is very close to the so-called university town. Within 3 to 5 years, when the university town is established, the nearby business district will definitely be more prosperous. Arriving at Wanda Plaza, Lin Feng took out a key and opened one of the shops. This scene is very familiar. Zhang Yuxi was stunned for a moment. Honey, did you buy this shop? Yes. Did Lan look for a shop? I saw that she has been looking for it for so long, but there is still no news. It just so happened that Liu Bo and I came out that day and saw this shop, so I bought it. Oh. Zhang Yuxi has always believed in Lin Feng's words unconditionally. She did not doubt it and followed in Lan indirectly. The decoration of the shop is very luxurious and the furnishings are also very stylish. And Lan took a look and her eyes lit up immediately. Wow, it's so big. And it's 2 floors. The area must be more than 200 square meters, right? Why can't I find such a good shop? Chapter 77 Preparation before opening the store. Arriving on the 2nd floor. Seeing the open-air balcony, Lan exclaimed again. It's so beautiful. The view is so wide. And you can vaguely see the coast in the distance. If this place is used to open a restaurant, it will definitely become a popular check-in spot. At that time, are you still afraid that there will be no business? During this period, Lan talked a lot with her father. She had a lot of new ideas about the location of the store. She liked this store at first sight. Zhang Yuxi was also very satisfied with this place. Lin, take me around here. Learn about the surrounding situation. And Lan suggested. Lin Feng nodded and took the 2 women to the outside of the mall. Most of the shops on the 1st floor of Wanda Plaza have been rented out. Do you see the buildings opposite? These community buildings have been capped, and a large number of residents will move in by the end of the year. And over there. Lin Feng pointed to the construction site in the distance where a large number of buildings were under construction. That's the university town. The building has been completed and is expected to be put into use in half a year. When that happens, the popularity here will definitely be booming. Before coming here, Lin Feng looked up a lot of information. He also had a good understanding of the situation around Wanda Plaza. After all, if you want to open a store, you can't just spend money. You also need to have a general understanding of the surrounding environment and the people around you. On this basis, you can improve product quality and service attitude, so that you can attract more customers. Lin Feng took the 2 women and continued to stroll around Wanda Plaza. Not long after, the 3 of them came to a newly opened spicy hot pot restaurant. There were not many people in the store, only 1 boss and 2 waiters. They happened to be hungry, so they sat down and ordered a special spicy hot pot here. Lin Feng told the boss to make it less spicy. The boss stood by, listening to Lin Feng ordering dishes while looking at the 4 babies with envy. My wife is about to give birth, and the doctor said it seems to be a son. The 3 congratulated the boss. The boss smiled shyly. I'm happy, but raising sons will be stressful in the future. By the way, how many sons do you have among the quadruplets? 2. Wow, that's not bad, at least there are 2 daughters. Not long after, 3 servings of spicy hot pot were served. While eating, Lan asked the boss about the opening of the store. Boss, how long have you been running this store? Almost 2 months. So how is your business? Not bad. Isn't there a university town being built nearby? Many workers will come to eat here after get off work. Usually, we don't have many customers here. I guess it will be better when the new residents move into the nearby community. When they finished eating and were about to leave. Just then, a few workers walked in work clothes. The boss hurried over, took out a few plastic chairs, and wiped the table by the way. Brother, why are you off work so early today? It's not early anymore. We'll have to work again after dinner. The workers said, and sat down and ordered 2 spicy hot pots. 1 vegetarian and 1 meaty. Boss, another dozen raw, frozen, and a big pot of rice. The boss responded and hurried to the back kitchen. And Lan took out his mobile phone, calculated carefully, and then said to Lin Feng, "Boss, let's discuss it." Lin Feng nodded. "Yes, let's go back and talk." Originally, he planned to open a baby supermarket on one of the 2 floors of shops. But now it seems that the popularity here is not very high. Opening a baby supermarket should not make much money. So just use all of it to open a restaurant. After returning home, Zhang Yuxi was taking care of the baby on the 2nd floor. And Lan changed into slippers, sat on the sofa, and crossed her legs. A pair of slender white legs, crossed back and forth, very tempting. Lin Feng took 2 bottles of drinks and put them on the coffee table. Mr. Lin, you have a really good eye for choosing a store. Let's not talk about the 2-story shops. The sea view balcony on the 2nd floor alone is enough to attract attention. And Lan picked up the drink and said while drinking, "In this era, as long as there is traffic, you can definitely make money. We can make this sea view balcony into a celebrity check-in point. When the time comes, I'll find some beautiful internet celebrities to promote it. When it opens, the business will definitely be hot." Lin Feng smiled and nodded. "This is a good idea. My children's clothing store also became popular because of the internet. In this case, let's do it. Now the store is yours, and you are responsible for the technology. I will pay for the decoration. I will also be responsible for hiring employees and daily expenses of the store in the future. Let's split it 30-70. What do you think?" Before, I thought that she would be responsible for all the store matters. That's why Lan dared to propose a 50-50 split, but now the shop and technology are in Lin Feng's hands. If she says 50-50 again, it would be a bit too much. And Lan took a sip of her drink, licked her lips and asked, "Boss Lin, what do you think?" Lin Feng had actually thought about it a long time ago. Although the shop and technology are all his own. But Lan is Zhang Yuxi's best friend, and her family runs a chain of hotels, so it is inevitable that she will use her family's connections in the future. In addition, the daily expenses of the shop are also borne by Lan. If it is a 37 split, it is indeed a bit disadvantageous for her. So Lin Feng said, "How about this, we split it 64, I will take 6 and you 4. You are responsible for all the decoration, but I suggest that you can find someone who knows the business to follow you. You look so young, others may fool you, just like last time." Hearing this, Lan rolled her eyes at Lin Feng unhappily. "Okay, I know." After that, Lan went to contact the decoration company. She made an appointment with the boss to go to the shop to take a look at it at 8 o'clock in the evening. After the on-site inspection, the decoration company can carry out the decoration according to Lan's wishes. After learning about this, Lin Feng called Liu Bo. "Liu Bo, you and Lan will go to the Southern New District later. I have a shop and I need to renovate it in the Southern New District." Liu Bo agreed immediately. Originally, Lin Feng wanted to go with Lan. But he was a little worried about leaving Zhang Yuxi alone to take care of 4 babies in the villa. It seems that he has to install a surveillance camera in the villa in a few days. This is the only way to ensure the safety of his wife and babies. Chapter 78 in Lan's Temptation. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Liu Bo drove a van and took Lan to the Southern New District. The two had met before at the baby's half-year-old party and got along well. When they arrived at Wanda Plaza, the people from the decoration company had already arrived. They came with 2 people, one for taking pictures and the other for measuring. Just when the decoration company was busy, Lan took out her mobile phone and made a video call to her father. "Dad, this is the store I just told you about. Help me take a look. Tell me later how to decorate it." Lan's father looked at the store through his mobile phone, and he liked it very much. Especially the open-air balcony on the 2nd floor. You can see the beach in the distance, and the scenery is very beautiful. If it is operated well, it will become a highlight of the hotel. "Okay. Dad will think about it for you later." Seeing his daughter working so hard for her career, still busy with the store decoration late at night, Lan's father almost cried. His daughter has grown up. Lan told her father about the situation of the store and the surrounding environment. Lan's father listened and nodded frequently. To do business, you must pay attention to adapting to local conditions and open a store wherever you are. You can't just rely on your own ideas, you must be down to earth to make it bigger and stronger. This store belongs to Lin Feng. When the time comes, the dishes will also be controlled by him. So I want to take care of the store decoration. And Lan's father was a little surprised when he heard it. I didn't expect that such a big store was bought by Lin Feng. Then how do you and Lin Feng calculate the dividends? Originally I wanted to split it 30% and 70%, but Lin Feng disagreed and said 60% and 40%. Hearing this, Lan's father's favor for Lin Feng increased a little more. Others run the store and provide technology, and Lin Feng is not short of money. He can find someone else to be responsible for the operation of the store. As the saying goes, good wine needs no bush. With Lin Feng's cooking skills, there is no problem at all to make a restaurant. He asked Lan to be his partner, probably because they were acquaintances, and also because it would give Zhang Yuxi a companion in Yangchang. Okay. I got it. If you don't understand anything, feel free to ask Dad. If you are short of manpower, I can also transfer a few people to you. And Lan nodded with a smile, and then said goodbye to her father. After hanging up the phone, the people from the decoration company had almost finished measuring. And Lan walked over and told them her requirements. The decoration style of the store should be as young as possible, and the colors can be richer. As for the materials, they are all imported from abroad, and there is no shortage of money. She wants to make this store a unique restaurant in Yangchang. Please work overtime these 2 days and make a decoration plan for me. I want to see the plan the day after tomorrow morning at the latest. The cost is not a problem. At first, when the people from the decoration company heard Lan say that she would work overtime, they were still a little unhappy. But later, Lan said that money was not a problem. They agreed immediately. Okay, no problem. Lan smiled with satisfaction, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Now everything is ready, only the shop decoration is missing. In terms of manpower, she plans to recruit locally in Yangchang. If she really can't recruit, she will ask her father for help and transfer some people from Shanghai. As for the dishes, with Chef Lin, it is not a problem at all. As long as the decoration is done, it will take only a few minutes to open the store. On the way back, Lan looked out the window at the neon-lit city, and she couldn't help but sigh at the impermanence of life. This time, she just came to see her bestie. Unexpectedly, she found the direction of her life. Back to the villa. Lan entered the house and found Lin Feng still reading in the living room. I'm back, where's Yuxi? She has classes tomorrow and has already gone to bed. Lan said, took off her high heels and put them in the shoe cabinet. Then, she actually took off her stockings in front of Lin Feng. Seeing those two shining thighs, Lin Feng was a little stunned. He stared and said awkwardly, Lan, what are you doing? Lan ignored him, picked up the stockings and threw them into the laundry basket. We are all so familiar with each other. Take off your socks, what are you shocked about? Lan curled her lips helplessly and looked at Lin Feng with a futile and stubborn look. Hearing this, Lin Feng was completely speechless. Your socks are not ordinary socks. Lin Feng even suspected that Lan did it on purpose. He shook his head, didn't think much, got up and went back upstairs to sleep. The next day, Lin Feng got up to make breakfast. Zhang Yuxi was feeding the baby. After feeding the baby, she ran to the bathroom and put on some light makeup. Hubby, I won't be back for lunch at noon. There's a meeting at the school. Lin Feng nodded and handed her the lunchbox directly. Honey, how do you know I won't be back for lunch? You told me last night when we were sleeping. Did I talk to you last night? Why don't I remember? Seeing his wife's confused look, Lin Feng couldn't help but joked. You told me last night not to come again and go to bed quickly. You also said that you love me so much and want to be with me forever, and never separate for a lifetime. Zhang Yuxi's pretty face flushed, and she couldn't help but glared at Lin Feng. When did she learn to talk in her sleep? Lin Feng leaned close to her ear and whispered, you also told me. Swish. Zhang Yuxi's pretty face flushed. This sentence must not be said by her. But Lin Feng's expression didn't look like a joke. So annoying. Why did I talk in my sleep? Seeing the two flirting, Lan was extremely angry. Early in the morning, they are torturing dogs here. It's too much? Ahem. Lan coughed twice to stop the two from continuing to show their affection. Lin Feng, I'm going to buy tableware later. By the way, go to the furniture mall and get some tables and chairs for the store. I won't come back for lunch either. Lin Feng nodded. After seeing off Lan and Zhang Yuxi, Lin Feng lay on the sofa and played with his phone for a while. Suddenly he remembered what he said yesterday about installing surveillance cameras in the villa. He opened WeChat and made a voice call to Liubo. Liubo, do you have the phone number of the master who installed surveillance cameras for the store before? Yes, what's the matter, brother? I want to install surveillance cameras in the villa. Oh, then I'll send you his WeChat. I'm familiar with him. Just tell me my name. After adding WeChat, Lin Feng communicated with the other party. The other party said that he had to go to the villa to see it. Only then would he know how to control the surveillance. Because villas are different from ordinary houses, surveillance cameras must be installed inside and outside the house. And the location of the surveillance cameras is also very particular. What's more, Lin Feng's villa is a luxurious villa covering an area of more than 1,000 square meters. The location of the surveillance cameras must be very accurate. So it takes a field visit to know how to install the surveillance cameras. Chapter 79: Installing surveillance cameras in the villa. It was 12 o'clock noon. Lin Feng was preparing to cook when he heard the doorbell ring. He put down the kitchen knife and walked to the door of the villa. He found that it was a father and son. Lin Feng welcomed them in, and the father and son took a brief look. Then he took out a blueprint and drew the structure of the villa. Boss, I just took a look. The four corners outside the villa, plus the location of the door, must be equipped with surveillance. For the interior, except for the bathroom and bedroom, the rest depends on your needs. Lin Feng thought for a while and said, just install a few surveillance cameras in the living room, the baby's room, and the corridor of the villa. I mainly want to be able to see the baby when I'm outside. And prevent thieves and so on. The father and son nodded, and then discussed the details with Lin Feng. Regarding the brand of surveillance equipment, he recommended Hikvision, the best on the market, to Lin Feng. One is 1,800 yuan, including installation. After all, living in such a large villa, I think he is not short of money. Lin Feng also checked about surveillance equipment last night. He also knows something about this brand. Okay. After all the cameras are installed, how many cameras do you need? The installer counted on his fingers. Your villa is so big, you probably need 9 cameras. 9 cameras, that's 16,000 yuan. This amount of money is nothing to Lin Feng. 10. Lin Feng paused, then said, I want to use the extra one in the store. No problem. The installer said excitedly, then I'll let my son wire it here, and I'll go out to get the monitor. Okay. The installer left in a hurry, leaving his son busy here. Lin Feng went upstairs and looked at the babies. They were all sleeping well and didn't seem to want to drink milk. So he closed the door and went back to the living room to supervise. The young man was very serious about his work and looked diligent. From beginning to end, he didn't say a word to Lin Feng, just focused on his work. Lin Feng took out a bottle of drink and handed it to him. Here, drink Coke. The other party was surprised. He didn't expect Lin Feng to give him a drink. Thank you. He was a little embarrassed. Then he stopped talking and continued to wire in the villa. Not long after, the installation master returned to the villa with a monitor. Lin Feng looked at the time and it was almost 1 o'clock. He stood up and said to the father and son, Master, let's have a meal first, and we'll be busy in the afternoon. Lin Feng said and walked into the kitchen, wanting to cook for them. The installation master saw it and hurriedly stopped him. Boss, don't bother so much, we brought our own food. This kind of villa order often takes a day to install. So they all bring their own lunch. Taking out the lunchbox, the father and son began to eat. Stir-fried pork with peppers, lettuce, salted duck eggs, and a big bowl of rice. The dishes are quite rich, but a little dry. Lin Feng asked, do you want some beer? The father and son shook their heads violently. No. No. Lin Feng smiled, walked into the kitchen, and cooked himself a bowl of noodles. On the other side, Zhang Yuxi finished her class and returned to the office to prepare for dinner. When Han Wen saw Zhang Yuxi and took out a long-lost lunchbox, her eyes suddenly lit up. She had been waiting for this lunchbox for a long time. She approached Zhang Yuxi like a little pug. Teacher Zhang, can I compete with you for food? Zhang Yuxi smiled helplessly, of course. Tang Zifan asked for leave today and did not come to work. Han Wen was ecstatic because she had lost a competitor. She quickly picked up the chopsticks and started eating crazily. Brother-in-law's cooking skills. Still so good. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said, eat quickly, we have a meeting later. The school also has its own cafeteria. But now is the peak time for school dismissal, and if you go to the cafeteria to eat, you will probably have to queue up. And the taste of the cafeteria is really not good. Not to mention the teachers, even the students don't want to eat. But due to the economic situation, they can only give in to the cafeteria and. In the afternoon, after the last class, Zhang Yuxi drove home and found a car parked at the door. Through the car window, I saw a dirty work uniform and several cameras on the seat. They should be here to install surveillance at home. Zhang Yuxi looked around the villa and found that cameras were installed in the four corners and at the door. However, the cameras had not started working yet. They should not have been installed yet. Zhang Yuxi entered the house. "Honey, I'm back." There was a thumping sound from the baby's room. Lin Feng sat on the sofa and played with the four babies. "Are you back? And Lan called me just now and said she would be back for dinner later. Please help take care of the babies, I'll go cook." "Okay, honey." There was not much noise upstairs, and it did not scare the babies. Instead, they were very curious. Especially Erbeo, who stared with his big black eyes and looked so serious. Not long after, and Lan came back with a tired face. "I'm so tired. Come on, let me suck the baby." She picked up Dabeo, took a deep breath, and then showed a refreshed expression. "Ah, I'm alive again." Seeing this scene, Zhang Yuxi was extremely speechless. "Others suck cats, you suck babies?" Dabeo was giggling because of Enlan and wanted to pull her hair. Enlan dodged flexibly and put him back in the crib. The babies all had a milky scent, which made Enlan feel comfortable. Just then, the dong 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 sound stopped. The father and son came down from upstairs and were stunned when they saw the two beauties in the living room. One had a cold and beautiful appearance, and the other had a charming appearance. Both had amazing figures. They didn't dare to look at them anymore, so they took out their equipment and began to test a villa camera. After running it once, they found that there was no problem. So they prepared to pack up and leave. Just then, Lin Feng came out of the kitchen with food. Smelling the fragrance of the food, the father and son were a little hungry. "Master, let's eat before we leave." Hearing this, they wanted to refuse. But they couldn't resist the temptation of the food in front of them. Then, "We're sorry to bother you." The father and son sat down and began to feast on the food. They felt that this meal was the most delicious they had ever eaten in their lives. The master's son secretly glanced at Lin Feng, with envy on his face. He was so rich at such a young age. Moreover, his cooking skills are so good, and his wife is so beautiful. It's really frustrating to compare yourself with others. After dinner, the installation master instructed Lin Feng how to retrieve the surveillance footage and view the historical records, etc. Zhang Yuxi also took out her mobile phone and looked at the surveillance footage. The footage was very clear. "It's great. I can also interact with my baby when I go to work in the future." And Lan didn't install surveillance footage for the following reasons. "You two show your affection at home every day. What if I see something inappropriate for children? That would be bad." Chapter 80, Finalizing the plan. The next day, Lan asked the people from the decoration company to come to the villa. Lin Feng also wanted to take a look at the shop decoration plan. This time, 3 people from the decoration company came and brought 5 decoration plans. Lan was very satisfied with their work efficiency. The boss smiled and handed the decoration plan to Lan. "This is our company, designed over time according to your ideas. Please take a look, Missin." Lan looked at the 5 decoration plans. Each has its own characteristics. It is also worth the money. Lan shouted upstairs, "Boss Lin, come down quickly." Lin Feng was coaxing Erbeo to sleep and carrying the baby downstairs. He only then knew that someone from the decoration company had come. The boss nodded at him with an eager smile. Years of social experience told him that the man in front of him was the one who had the power to make decisions. Lan smiled and held Erbeo in his arms. "Come, let your godmother hold you." Lin Feng handed Erbeo to Lan and picked up the 5 decoration plans on the table. These decoration plans are all very good. He liked one of them at first sight. "This is fine." Lan picked up the plan and took a look. This decoration style is overall darker in color. If warm light is used, the effect is still very good. But she doesn't like this one. "Boss Lin, how about this plan?" Lan's favorite is the last one, the pure white decoration style. Lin Feng shook his head. "It's too clean. For our current customers, it may feel uncomfortable." Lan thought about the appearance of those workers. An overly clean environment is indeed a little uncomfortable for them. "Okay, then this one. I'll talk to my dad later." With that, Lan returned her bao to Lin Feng. Lin Feng took her bao back upstairs. Lan took out her mobile phone and called her father. Lan's father answered the call and asked with a smile, "My dear daughter, do you miss your dad?" "Yes, I miss you so much. The store decoration plan is out, Dad. Can you help me take a look?" "Okay, wait until I go wear reading glasses." At this moment, Lan's mother took the phone. "Let me see, I haven't seen you for almost half a month. You have lost weight. How can I be thin?" Lan's mother sighed and said distressedly, "You are so busy every day, when can you find a partner?" "Mom, I am busy with my career now." "What career are you busy with?" "Look at Yuxi, she has a husband and a child, and look at you." At this point, Lan's mother asked again, "Where are the babies?" "Let me see. They are sleeping upstairs." "Mom, I am also a baby, look at me." As she said, Lan made a cute expression towards the phone. Unexpectedly, she was ridiculed by her own mother. "How old are you? You still call me a baby? If you can find someone to call you a baby, that's real ability. I am really angry, I won't talk to you anymore." Lan's mother put down the phone and got up and left. Lan's father came over and asked, "Why don't you chat with your daughter more?" "What to chat about? I don't talk to single people." Lan's father picked up his phone and asked Lan, "Did you make her angry?" "No. She's sulking." Lan said helplessly. Lan's father expressed his understanding, "Since your mother attended the baby's half-year-old party, not only has she disliked you, but I've also suffered." Hearing this, Lan was a little puzzled. She could understand that her mother disliked her. But why did her father suffer too? "Dad, why is this?" Lan's father glared at Lan, "It's all because of you." Okay. Let's change the subject." Lan's father put on his reading glasses and looked at the 5 decoration plans. "This company is pretty good. They actually made 5 plans for you. And each plan has its own style." The boss on the side heard it and said with a smile, "Thank you, uncle, for the compliment." Lan's father nodded and asked Lan to give the phone to the boss of the decoration company. "Boss, I have seen all 5 of your plans. If I have to choose, I will choose this one." Lan leaned over to take a look. "Dad, you and Lin Feng chose the same one." "Don't talk, let me talk to the boss." Lan. The boss held the phone and said with a smile, "Uncle, I'm listening. Since the decoration plan is decided, then let's talk about the price. What is your budget?" "Our budget is 500,000. Lan's father was silent for a while. "Wait a minute, I'll calculate it." Not long after, Lan's father gave his bottom price. "I'll give you 400,000. The boss raised his eyebrows. "Uncle, you're bargaining too much? Then how about this? I'll give you another 20,000, and you can help install the kitchen." The boss was silent when he heard this. He was thinking that he could make a lot of money this time. Unexpectedly, he met an expert. Seeing this, Lan's father smiled and said, "Young man, this business is still very profitable for you. How about this? Let's just make friends this time. After a while, I have a hotel that I plan to renovate, and I'll give this job to you." Lan was surprised and said, "Dad, why are you renovating it?" Lan's father smiled proudly, "I plan to upgrade it to a 5-star hotel." "Oh." The boss, heard, immediately agreed. Lan's father was right. Although the price of this business was a little low, it was still very profitable. And being able to win the decoration of a 5-star hotel will also be of great help to his qualification improvement. When he goes out in the future, he can brag that his company has contracted the decoration of a 5-star hotel. Lan took the phone with a smile. "Thank you, Dad." Seeing his daughter smiling so happily, Lan's father was also very happy. "When you sign the contract later, you must read it carefully. If you are worried, let Dad help you take a look." "I know, Dad. Thank you." After hanging up the phone, Lan said to the boss, "You go back and draft the contract. Try to get the decoration done within half a month. We are still waiting to make a lot of money." The boss nodded and left with his men. The decoration of the store. With Lan and her daughter, Lin Feng doesn't need to worry about it at all. Every day, Lan goes out early and comes back late to supervise the workers in the store. Zhang Yuxi is at school. In her spare time, she turns on the surveillance to interact with the babies. She shouts the baby's name to the surveillance. The babies will stare and look around for the source of the sound. Among them, Sibao is the most active. He probably thinks that as long as he finds his mother, he can drink milk, That cute look makes Zhang Yuxi both funny and distressed. Chapter 81 BMW Mini Top Version. After the half-year-old party, the baby is 6 months old. In addition to breastfeeding, you can also feed them some complementary foods. This is also very helpful for the baby's growth and development. On this day, Lin Feng took the baby to bask in the sun in the villa garden. Seeing that Dabao opened his mouth, saliva flowed down, looking very ferocious. The other 3 babies were in the same situation. However, compared with Dabao, the situation was slightly better, but it was not optimistic. Lin Feng spent half an hour wiping their saliva every day. It was the first time to raise a baby, and Lin Feng had no experience. So he took out his mobile phone and called the doctor last time. If the baby drools, it means you have to start feeding complementary foods. Generally speaking, babies have to start feeding complementary foods when they are about 5 months old. If you have no experience, remember this sentence. When adding complementary foods, you should start from thin juice, then thick juice, and then thin paste and thick paste. Give the baby a process of adaptation. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng nodded thoughtfully. Unexpectedly, the baby can actually eat complementary foods? Do it right away. Make complementary food for the babies before they are fed. Generally speaking, the complementary food that a 6-month-old baby can eat includes vegetable juice, tomato juice, carrot juice, fruit juice, rice flour paste, egg yolk paste, etc. So Lin Feng prepared to make rice flour paste and vegetable juice for them. He first soaked the rice in water, and then cut the vegetables while he was there. When the rice was almost soaked, Lin Feng took out the wall-breaking machine and blended the rice. Then he made another bowl of vegetable juice. Then, Lin Feng added water to the rice flour, put it in the pot, and simmered it over low heat. Stir with chopsticks while simmering to prevent it from sticking to the pot. When bubbles appear in the rice flour paste, you can turn off the heat. Lin Feng pushed the baby to the dining room, let the rice flour paste cool, and feed the baby when it is warm. First, start with Dabao, who drools the most. Dabao, like Sabao, is also a glutton and eats whatever he can get. Lin Feng was afraid of scolding the baby, so he put the spoon on the back of his hand to feel the temperature before feeding. When he felt the temperature was suitable, he put the spoon into Dabao's mouth. Dabao swallowed it without thinking. Then came Erbao. Erbao was a little resistant at first. But when she smelled the rice flour paste, she started to eat obediently. Sanbao was not good. She felt something in her mouth and spit it out immediately. She refused to eat anything. Lin Feng brought some vegetable juice and fed her a little. Sibao was even more difficult to deal with. Because he was the weakest, Zhang Yuxi usually fed him personally. He was used to the taste of breast milk and didn't even like to drink milk powder. When he smelled the rice flour paste, he turned his head away immediately. Lin Feng used Wawa learning language to communicate with him for a long time before letting Sibao eat a bite. After feeding the 4 babies, Lin Feng put them aside and observed their reactions. After all, it was the first time for them to eat complementary food, and Lin Feng was afraid that they couldn't stand it. So he observed and paid attention to their movements. Lin Feng's eyes fell on Dabao. Dabao seemed to want to eat more, clapped his hands at Lin Feng, and kept mumbling. Eat, eat. Hearing this voice, Lin Feng was surprised and happy. Dabao, what did you say? Say it again for daddy. Dabao looked at Lin Feng, opened his mouth, and made another strange sound. He seemed to want to eat more. But this time the sound was different from the last time. Maybe Dabao made it unintentionally. Lin Feng picked up the rice flour paste and continued to feed Dabao a few mouthfuls. Dabao was very good, swallowed it directly in one mouthful, and seemed to like the taste of the rice flour paste very much. Lin Feng touched Dabao's head. Dabao is really good, he has started to learn to speak. Not long after, Zhang Yuxi came back. Lin Feng told her about the baby eating complementary food. Zhang Yuxi was a little surprised after hearing it. The doctor said that babies can eat complementary foods at 6 months old. And I saw that they often drool, so I cooked some rice flour paste and vegetable juice for them at noon. Zhang Yuxi nodded and asked curiously, do they all eat? Dabao and Erbao are quite cooperative. Especially Dabao, after eating, he still clamored for more. Zhang Yuxi was a little surprised. What about Sanbao and Sibao? Sanbao was more resistant, so I fed him some vegetable juice, and Sibao only ate a mouthful of rice flour paste. Zhang Yuxi was a little surprised. Sibao, who is usually the most greedy and sleepy, actually doesn't like to eat complimentary foods. Since they have eaten complimentary foods, Zhang Yuxi is not going to feed them. She walked to the living room, looked at the 4 babies, and then changed their diapers. Lin Feng took a spoon and a porcelain bowl and ran to the kitchen to wash the dishes. At this time, the voice of the system came. Ling, because the host feeds the baby complimentary foods, he has fulfilled his responsibilities as a father. A BMW Mini top-end version is rewarded. The vehicle has been safely transferred, and compulsory traffic insurance, vehicle damage insurance, and third-party liability insurance have all been purchased. Note, the car has been parked in the villa garage. As soon as the voice fell, a bunch of car keys appeared in Lin Feng's pocket. Lin Feng touched the car keys, and a smug look appeared on his face. He was originally thinking that he would take time to go to the 4S store in the next 2 days and buy a car for his wife. After all, now that there is an Lan in the family, it has become inconvenient to go out. Unexpectedly, the system actually rewarded him with a car. Lin Feng put down his bowl and chopsticks, walked to the living room, and said to Zhang Yuxi, "Wife, I bought you a car. You will drive the new car to work tomorrow." Zhang Yuxi paused and said in surprise, "Have you bought it?" "Yes." "You are wasting money." "Oh, there is only one car at home now, it's inconvenient. Besides, now that we have moved into the villa, buying a car is nothing." Zhang Yuxi heard this and smiled sweetly. "Thank you, husband. Thank me well in the evening." Zhang Yuxi blushed and said coquettishly, "No way. I was almost exhausted last night." After saying that, she stood up and walked towards the garage of the villa. Soon, Zhang Yuxi ran up with a very excited expression. "Honey, how do you know that I like Mini Cooper?" Lin Feng smiled helplessly. How could he know what kind of car his wife likes? "How much did you pay for this car?" "I think the configuration is quite good." Seeing that Zhang Yuxi was distressed about the money, Lin Feng hurriedly said, "It's not much, it's the cheapest one." Zhang Yuxi felt better after hearing this. She hugged Lin Feng and kept acting coquettishly. "Honey, you are so good to me." Lin Feng smiled. "If my husband doesn't treat you well, who can he treat well?" "Who knows, what if you change your mind?" "No, what if?" "But." Lin Feng's eyes flashed. "If you doubt my sincerity, then I will prove it with actual actions." As he said that, he walked towards Zhang Yuxi with an ambiguous smile on his face. Zhang Yuxi was so scared that she shook her head. "Hubby, I believe you." "No, you don't. Why else would you ask me every time?" As he said that, Lin Feng picked up Zhang Yuxi and threw her on the sofa. He proved himself with his actual actions. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Mysterious Gift. The next day, Zhang Yuxi drove a BMW Mini to school. Because her car was the top version, worth more than 300,000 yuan. It was very different from the ordinary BMW Mini. So after driving to the school, she immediately attracted everyone's attention. Many students were guessing which teacher or which rich girl bought the new car. Tang Zifan and Han Wen were walking on the road and also saw the car. "Teacher Tang, look at that car, it's so beautiful. Which teacher bought it? I'm so envious. I've wanted to buy a BMW Mini for a long time, but unfortunately I don't have the money to buy it." The two stood there and had no intention of leaving. They wanted to see whether the owner of the car was a student or a teacher. After all, there are still many rich second generations in Yangcheng University. They all live nearby, and it is normal for them to drive to school. What? It turned out to be Teacher Zhang. Seeing Zhang Yuxi walk out of the car, the two were stunned. Zhang Yuxi took her bag and walked over slowly in the envious eyes of everyone. Han Wen immediately went over. "Teacher Zhang, did you buy a new car?" Tang Zifan was also a little shocked. "This car is not cheap, right? It looks like it has high configurations." "I don't know how much it cost, my husband bought it," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Han Wen heard this and immediately showed envy and jealousy. "Oh my god. When can you give me a husband like this?" Tang Zifan was also very envious. Compared with Zhang Yuxi, her marriage was simply a failure. She and her husband met through a blind date. After more than 10 years of marriage, there is no emotion at all. Usually, let alone showing affection, even a kiss would make her feel sick for a long time. It's true that people have different fates and different handles. MV. Han Wen sighed in Cantonese. In the office. Teacher Zhang, are you okay? Why do you look absent-minded? Han Wen looked up at Zhang Yuxi. Are you thinking about your brother-in-law? Zhang Yuxi nodded and said with some annoyance. In a few days, it will be his birthday. I haven't decided what gift to give him yet. Do you have any good suggestions? Han Wen leaned close to Zhang Yuxi's ear and whispered. Zhang Yuxi's pretty face immediately turned red. Han Wen couldn't help but joked. Why are you shy? You two have children, what haven't you done? Just listen to me, I guarantee that you will make your brother-in-law scream with pleasure. Tang Zifan came over and happened to hear this. What scream? Han Wen smiled with her hands covering her mouth, and said nothing. She only said, in a few days, it will be the birthday of Teacher Zhang's husband, and she asked me what gift to give. Zhang Yuxi thought that Tang Zifang might be able to come up with a good idea. So she asked, Teacher Tang, what do you usually give your husband on his birthday? Give him a watch, a tie, or a game console, it should be alright. After a pause, Tang Zifan said again, it depends on what your husband likes. Zhang Yuxi recalled. Lin Feng usually dresses very simply and doesn't like watches. He doesn't even play games much. For him, the current life seems to be only about the baby. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi was still worried, Tang Zifan said helplessly, if it doesn't work, you can cook him a delicious meal to reward him. Han Wen smiled and said, with your brother-in-law's cooking skills, you can ask Teacher Zhang to cook for him. Are you rewarding him or punishing him? Tang Zifang heard this and shook her head helplessly. She really had no choice now. Until the bell rang. Zhang Yuxi hadn't thought about what gift to give to Lin Feng. But there are still 2 days before his birthday, so she will think about it slowly then. In a blink of an eye. 2 days passed. Zhang Yuxi was absent-minded and still thinking about the gift. When eating breakfast, she even put the chopsticks upside down and ate with a thick end. Wife? What's wrong with you? No, nothing. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly covered it up. Husband, I'm going to school. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's flustered look, Lin Feng was immediately confused. What's wrong with my wife? She looked absent-minded. Did she run into trouble at work? If so, it would be better to let her quit her job and be a full-time wife at home. Anyway, with her current financial ability, she can fully afford the expenses of the family. Tonight, I have to talk to her properly. Teacher Zhang, have you prepared a gift? Han Wen saw Zhang Yuxi's sad face and couldn't help asking. Not yet. I don't know what to give. Zhang Yuxi frowned and said. Oh, why are you so entangled? Just do as I said before and give him a big surprise. Han Wen looked like she was watching the fun and not minding the big things. Zhang Yuxi blushed and shook her head. No. Then you can't just give nothing. He is so young, and he has to take care of you and the baby. He has paid so much for you. If you don't show your appreciation, what will he think? Hearing what Han Wen said, Zhang Yuxi suddenly felt a little embarrassed. But. Han Wen squinted and said, but what? No matter how good other gifts are, is your intention important? Seeing Zhang Yuxi's hesitation, Han Wen smiled. I'll take you to Bod after school. Soon. The bell rang. Zhang Yuxi saw the opportunity and wanted to escape, but was caught by Han Wen. Teacher Zhang, where are you going? Didn't we agree that I would take you to buy a gift later? Han Wen said, pulling Zhang Yuxi and running outside. Sitting in Zhang Yuxi's new car, Han Wen pointed to the front. Let's go, Teacher Zhang. Zhang Yuxi hesitated for a moment. I think we can change to another. Oh, do you have any other ways to play? Han Wen grinned. Don't struggle, Teacher Zhang, drive quickly. There was no way, Zhang Yuxi could only bite the bullet. Under the coercion of Han Wen, she came to a neon-lit store. This store was filled with many exciting things and many intimate clothes. Auntie, are you there? Han Wen took Zhang Yuxi's hand and dragged her into the store. Hearing Han Wen's voice, a beautiful woman in revealing clothes walked out of the house. Wen, you're here. And, I want to buy something to enhance our relationship. Chapter 83 Strange Zhang Yuxi. On the other side. Lin Feng prepared dinner and waited in the living room for Zhang Yuxi to come back for dinner. But after waiting for a long time, Zhang Yuxi didn't come back. So Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and called Zhang Yuxi. but no one answered. Finally, he could only call Tang Zilfan. From Tang Zilfang, he learned that Zhang Yuxi was with Han Wen. Then, he called Han Wen again. Teacher Zhang, we just separated, didn't she go back? At this time, she should be back home soon. As soon as the voice fell, the sound of a car came from outside the villa. Lin Feng looked through the window. She's back, Teacher Han, I'll hang up first. It's okay, brother-in-law. Thank you for your hard work tonight. Han Wen said meaningfully, and then hung up the phone. Lin Feng didn't think much about it. Instead, he stood at the door, waiting for Zhang Yuxi to come in. Zhang Yuxi carried a bag and walked towards the villa with heavy steps. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Lin Feng standing in the living room, frowning, looking a little angry. Honey, what are you doing today? I called you several times, but you didn't answer. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly took out her cell phone and found that there were more than a dozen missed calls. All of them were from Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly apologized. Honey, I'm sorry. I turned on silent mode during class today and forgot to turn it back on. Seeing that she looked like she had done something wrong, Lin Feng softened his heart. It's okay, remember to check your phone next time. If you don't answer the phone, I'll be worried about you. Zhang Yuxi nodded and assured Lin Feng, okay, honey. Come on, let's eat. Lin Feng took the bag and the bag from her hand. The things in the bag. Why does it feel a little strange? What is this? Lin Feng asked curiously. Zhang Yuxi blushed, and hurriedly snatched the bag and ran upstairs. This made Lin Feng a little puzzled. Zhang Yuxi xz everything and then went downstairs to eat. Lin Feng didn't ask about the bag. Zhang Yuxi breathed a sigh of relief. After dinner, it was almost 9 o'clock. Zhang Yuxi ran upstairs and fed Sabeo. Then she went downstairs and prepared to go to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Lin Feng called her, wife, come and chat with me. Zhang Yuxi was a little confused, but she still sat on the sofa and nestled in Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng stroked her back and said softly, wife, I can make money now. Even if you don't go to work, I can still support you. If you are unhappy at work, then stay at home to take care of the baby. I won't say anything. Zhang Yuxi raised her head with a surprised expression. Hubby, I'm very happy. And there are Han Wen and Teacher Tang in the school. I can talk to them very well. Lin Feng asked back, really? Then why do you look so worried these days? That's because... Zhang Yuxi was about to explain the reason. But soon, she reacted and closed her mouth. Because of what? Lin Feng asked. Because I have to take one more class now, so I'm a little tired. Zhang Yuxi made up an excuse casually. Lin Feng saw her evasive look and knew that she was not telling the truth. But he did not ask any more questions. Since his wife did not want to say it, let her do it. If you are tired, then take a rest, I will wash the dishes. Okay. Lin Feng said, and got up to wash the dishes in the kitchen. At this time, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. It was Zhou Qilin who called. Lin Feng, today is your birthday. Mom wishes you a happy birthday. Lin Feng put down the bowl in his hand. Today is my birthday. Yes. Look at you, you forgot your birthday again. Lin Feng really didn't take his birthday seriously. Every year, Zhou Qilin reminded him. By the way, Lin Feng, I have something else to tell you. Last time, Wang Lu and the others saw you opening a store and making money. After they came back, they also bought a store and used it to sell children's clothing. I heard from your third uncle that it cost more than 200,000 yuan, including the decoration. They asked your third aunt to look after the store, and brought Ziao to the store, and the two of them played around. Your third aunt told me that the turnover in the store is only a few hundred yuan a day, which is not enough to pay the rent. Wang Lu and Lin Jiajin are regretting it now and are preparing to transfer the store. Lin Feng listened and nodded in agreement. In this environment, if you want to open a store, you must have something different from ordinary people. He chatted with Zhou Qilin for a while, and then hung up the phone. Everything was the same as usual in the evening. Lin Feng was a thoughtful person. Of course he found out that Zhang Yuxi was deliberately avoiding him. What did she want to do? After the babies fell asleep, Zhang Yuxi was also ready to go to bed. Lin Feng took a towel and was about to go to the bathroom to take a shower. Zhang Yuxi ran over in a hurry, pushed him out, and asked him to go downstairs to take a shower. Lin Feng was surprised. Why? Your shower is too noisy, I can't sleep. Okay. Maybe it's the day soon, so it becomes so strange. But Lin Feng thought, The time doesn't match. After taking a shower, Lin Feng looked at his handsome face in the mirror and was puzzled. Back to the bedroom on the second floor. Lin Feng found that only a table lamp was left on in the bedroom. Zhang Yuxi hid in the quilt, which made Lin Feng a little puzzled. Wife? Don't you feel bored? Lin Feng walked over and lifted the quilt. Suddenly, he widened his eyes. Because Zhang Yuxi was wearing an extremely cool dress under the quilt. And the style was extremely fancy. The fullness of her chest looked particularly charming under the light. What's more, her pair of slender and white legs. At this moment, it was exposed to Lin Feng without reservation, and he could even see the blood vessels inside. Lin Feng couldn't help but reach out his hand and wanted to touch it. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi raised her head and snorted softly. Husband. Lin Feng shuddered. He understood what Zhang Yuxi meant and walked in directly. Chapter 84 discovered the highlights. The next day, Lin Feng prepared breakfast and asked Zhang Yuxi to get up and eat. I know. Zhang Yuxi's lazy voice came from the quilt. She was exhausted last night. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. Get up quickly, you'll be late. After that, Lin Feng went downstairs. And Lan, wearing a suspender pajamas, also came out of the house. She has a very hot figure and her skin is white and delicate, like a peeled egg. Looking at Lan in front of him, Lin Feng couldn't help shaking his head. This girl is really becoming more and more open. And Lan yawned. Morning, Mr. Lin. Morning. Lin Feng asked, how is the store going? Very good. And Lan sat on the chair with her legs crossed. While drinking porridge, she said, the store will be open soon. Let's discuss the menu. No problem. During this time, Lin Feng was also thinking about this problem. He had his own opinion on the menu. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi came down from upstairs in neat clothes. Lin Feng turned around and greeted her, wife, come and have breakfast. Zhang Yuxi was a little embarrassed, her pretty face was red. She didn't dare to look directly at Lin Feng's eyes. Lin Feng pretended not to see it and brought out another breakfast from the kitchen. Wife, eat quickly. Seeing this extra breakfast, Lan was a little unhappy. Why don't I have fried eggs? Lin Feng pursed his lips, if you want to eat, fry them yourself. Lan pouted and glared at Lin Feng fiercely. You really don't know how to be considerate of your employees. At the dinner table, Zhang Yuxi ate by herself without saying anything. She was completely different from her usual self. Lan touched her chin and seemed to have discovered something. Yuxi, you are not right today. Lan glanced at Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi almost buried her head in the bowl. When Lan was waiting for Lin Feng to see the baby, she hurried over and said with a smile, Yuxi, do you know what you look like now? What do you look like? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. Like flowers moistened by spring rain. Lan said slyly. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed immediately and she glared at Lan fiercely. After breakfast, Zhang Yuxi drove to school. As soon as she entered the office, Han Wen hurried over and asked, how is it? What was my brother-in-law's reaction last night? Zhang Yuxi was a little embarrassed and shook her head and said, don't ask, just pretend it never happened. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's shy expression, Han Wen immediately understood. The two must have been fighting last night. She couldn't help but smile. Unexpectedly, Teacher Zhang, who looks cold on the outside, would be shy? This is too cute in contrast. Lin Feng made egg paste for the babies today. He first boiled the eggs, peeled the shells and took out the egg yolks, then added warm water and mashed them into paste. It smelled of a faint creamy fragrance. Maybe it was the smell of eggs. Dabao and Erbao both ate very happily. Especially Dabao, after eating a small bowl of egg paste, his mouth was still drooling, and he seemed to want more. Lin Feng shook his head helplessly, you greedy cat. Then, he fed Dabao a few more mouthfuls. Dabao and Erbao were very well behaved, and they didn't seem to resist the complimentary food. Next, it was a battle of wits and courage with Sanbao and Sabao. Sanbao was fine. Lin Feng used Wawa learning language to communicate with her. He reluctantly let her eat half a bowl of egg paste. But Sabao gave Lin Feng a headache. For some reason, he was the most active one to drink milk. But when it came to eating complimentary food, he was particularly resistant. Finally, Lin Feng had to use toys to attack. While using toys to attract Sabao's attention, he fed him a few mouthfuls. After feeding Sabao complimentary food, Lin Feng was almost exhausted. Finally done. Lin Feng lay on the sofa and breathed a sigh of relief. I don't know if it's because of the complimentary food they ate during this period. The baby's drooling has obviously improved a lot. At night, Zhang Yuxi returned to the villa with a gift bag. After a day of buffering, she was able to accept the absurd things she did last night. After get off work today, she ran to the mall and bought some birthday gifts for Lin Feng again. They were pens, notebooks, and a Kindle. Lin Feng was still a student, and these things were what Zhang Yuxi thought he needed. Wife, come and eat. Lin Feng brought out the dishes and waved at Zhang Yuxi. Han Wen and I drank milk tea outside, and we are not hungry now. I'll go see the baby first, and eat later. Zhang Yuxi walked to the living room and picked up Sibeo. Sibeo seemed to want to drink milk. Anan, have you been good today? Zhang Yuxi ignored Sibeo's request for milk. Because just now, Lin Feng told her that he had fed the baby complimentary food. She looked at Sibeo in front of her and found that Sibeo seemed to have grown up a little, and was a little different from before. Honey, I heard someone say, many children are good looking when they are young, but become ugly when they grow up. Do you think our baby will be like this too? Lin Feng knew what she was worried about. Don't worry, wife. Our baby will definitely be good looking when he is young. After all, we have our good looks to support him. After playing with the baby for a while, Zhang Yuxi came to eat. Lin Feng served Zhang Yuxi a bowl of soup. Zhang Yuxi took a sip and nodded. It tasted good. It was still so delicious. By the way, honey, this is my gift for you. Zhang Yuxi picked up the bag on the table and handed it over. Gift. Hearing these two words, Lin Feng's expression became ambiguous. Seeing this, Zhang Yuxi hurriedly shook his head and said, this time it's serious. Lin Feng said, took the bag, opened it and took a look. He found that it was full of school supplies. A look of disappointment suddenly appeared on his face. Chapter 85 Finalizing the menu. After more than 10 days of rushing, Lan got up early and went to the store to supervise the progress every day. The store was finally decorated. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi and 4 babies to the southern new district to inspect the results. Lan drove Zhang Yuxi's BMW Mini, and Liu Bo sat next to her. Behind him was the boss of the decoration company and the staff responsible for this decoration. Arrived at Wanda Plaza. A group of people walked to the door of the store. Lan pushed open the door and made a gesture of shining debut. Dang dang dang, I saw that the inside of the store was brand new. Clean and bright floors, and the walls were covered with various decorations. The whole store was full of a strong modern style. The actual effect was even more perfect than what was seen in the decoration sketch. I'll take you upstairs to have a look. Lan took Zhang Yuxi and the others to the second floor. The decoration style here is exactly the same as the first floor. As for the sea view balcony, Lan has not moved yet. She plans to wait until this wave of customers is over. She will think about how to use this balcony for packaging and promotion. After all, in the early days of the store, the main source of customers was the nearby workers. Later, when the university town is established or nearby residents move in, it will not be too late to make a fuss about this sea view balcony. Lin Feng walked into the kitchen and looked around. The kitchen has been expanded and the area is much larger than before. Even if 10 chefs work in it at the same time, it is more than enough. In this regard, Lan must have listened to her father's advice. After all, the kitchen is the top priority for opening a restaurant. If you can't even do a good job in the kitchen, what kind of restaurant is it? Not bad. The kitchen is well done. Hearing Lin Feng's praise, Lan showed a proud smile. Of course. Is there anything that can't be done with my aunt? I have already customized the tables, chairs, benches, and other decorations for the store with the owner of the furniture store. They will be able to deliver them in a few days. Lin Feng nodded, gave a thumbs up and said, great. Zhang Yuxi also came over and teased. It seems that from now on, I will call you Bosson. Lan corrected Zhang Yuxi with a stern face. No, please call me Mr. N from now on, thank you. Okay, Mr. N. Hey, comfortable. Lin Feng remembered what Lan had mentioned to him before. Does the store need to recruit more people? Or should we transfer people from your father? Lan waved her hand. No need to recruit people. I'll call my dad to transfer a few capable people. It won't be too late for us to change people when the store is running normally. Lin Feng nodded. Then now, the only thing left is the dishes. Yes. Decide this. Our restaurant can officially open. Back to the villa. and Lan brought the computer and discussed the dishes with Lin Feng. When our store opens, the first wave of customers will definitely be the workers nearby. So we have to know what their needs are. I've asked someone to study it. Those people like to eat dishes with heavy oil and spicy flavors the most. They don't have high requirements for taste, but they are very sensitive to price. But now, the price of ingredients has skyrocketed. It is still difficult for us to make cost-effective dishes under our current conditions. Lin Feng looked absent-minded and got up and walked upstairs. Those things, you think about them yourself. I'll teach the chef how to cook. And Lan couldn't help rolling her eyes when she heard this. Helplessly, she had to take out her mobile phone and call her father. And Lan's father gave his own advice. If the customers of your store are mainly workers nearby, I think you can sell set meals, mix chicken, duck, fish and meat, and pair them with vegetarian dishes. In this way, not only will the portion be sufficient, but the dishes will also look rich. The most important thing is that your chefs have to serve the dishes quickly. They are all workers. After get off work, they want to go back and rest early after dinner. Serving the dishes quickly is the most important thing. So I don't recommend you to cook kung fu dishes. Try to choose some simple dishes. If there are other customers who want to eat some special dishes, you can also cook them separately. Finally, the store has to sell alcohol. This is a very large source of income. After listening to his father's advice, Lan made several plans overnight. The next day, Lan, with messy hair and panda eyes, showed the plan to Lin Feng. Well, not bad. They are all quick dishes, and the price of the set meal is also very affordable. But I think you can add some alcohol to the set meal. After all, there are many customers who may not want to drink alcohol at first, but after ordering the set meal and drinking, they still want to continue consuming. And Lan nodded. I think what Lin Feng said makes sense. He is indeed a man who can do great things, and he thinks very carefully. Okay, then I'll make some changes. Add a few sets of meals with drinks. Anyway, now, the tables, chairs, benches, etc. have not been delivered yet. It will take some time before the store opens. 3 days later, Lan and Lin Feng finally finalized a menu. You don't have to do these dishes, they can all cook them. When the time comes, our store will be upgraded. When we change to other customers, you can guide them again. Lin Feng had no objection. After all, these are all home-cooked dishes, and the customers don't have high requirements for taste. When will the chef come? They are on their way. They are apprentices in my father's hotel and are very talented in cooking. When the time comes, you can come and guide him, there should be no problem. Okay. Running a restaurant requires a lot of energy. Growing up, Lan has never worked so hard for anything. Now, she can be said to be in pain and happiness. She believes that as long as she is willing to work hard, the restaurant will definitely get better and better. Thinking of this, Lan instantly became full of chicken blood. He took the computer back to the bedroom and continued to work. Lin Feng went upstairs and looked at the babies who were growing up, with a kind smile on his face. Unknowingly, the babies are already more than half a year old. Their appearance has also changed a lot. Gradually, it is possible to tell who is a boy and who is a girl from their looks. The expressions on their faces have also become richer. Since the baby started eating complimentary foods, Lin Feng has not received a system reward for nearly half a month. Perhaps he has been doing repetitive things for the past half month. That's why the system reward was not triggered. Lin Feng was not frustrated about this. After all, now, even without the system, he can live a good life. Feeding the baby is not a problem. Chapter 86 New Family Member. At noon, Lin Feng pushed the baby to the garden to bask in the sun. He had just spread out the picnic mat and put the 4 babies on it. Suddenly, a strange sound came. Swishing. Lin Feng looked closely and found an uninvited guest in the garden. This uninvited guest was squatting at the door of the villa, staring at the baby on the picnic mat. Lin Feng was a little curious. How did it get in? Dabao seemed to have noticed its existence, stretched out his little hand and pointed forward. He made a babbling sound from his mouth, as if greeting it. Meow. That's right. This uninvited guest was a cat. And it was an orange Chinese rural cat. It was very round, looked very good-natured, and very honest. Of course, for Lin Feng, no matter how honest it looked, it was a threat to the baby. It didn't look like a domesticated cat, it should be a stray cat nearby. But what made Lin Feng curious was how did it get in? The fat cat hunched over, as if it regarded this place as its own home, and walked towards the living room leisurely. Lin Feng followed closely behind it, without any intention of driving it away. Instead, he walked into the kitchen, took out a small dried fish, and let it out. As Lin Feng retreated, the fat cat followed closely. "Come, eat fish." The fat cat was indeed a foodie. After smelling the fishy smell in its eyes, there was only the small dried fish, and it left the living room without thinking. Lin Feng took the dried fish and led the fat cat to the door. Then he put the dried fish in his hand in front of the fat cat. It has a very docile personality and is not afraid of people. While he was eating the dried fish, Lin Feng found a cage and covered it in it, to prevent it from running around or hurting the babies. Lin Feng ran to the kitchen to wash his hands, then walked to the garden and took the babies back. Only then did he have time to think about how to deal with the fat cat. Lin Feng couldn't bear to throw it out. After all, this is a villa area, unlike other places, where there is so much kitchen waste to eat. With a body size like this, it will probably starve to death in a short time. If he keeps it at home, he is afraid that it will hurt a baby. The fat cat was in the cage, eating the dried fish, and just meowed a few times. It did not struggle, but squatted in the cage obediently, washing its paws. Hearing the cat's cry, the babies all pricked up their ears, looking very curious. They have never been in close contact with small animals since they were so big. Lin Feng hesitated. "Forget it. Let's take this fat cat to the pet hospital for a checkup first. If there is no problem, ask my wife how to deal with this cat. Stray cats carry a lot of bacteria. My roommate's girlfriend picked up a stray cat and brought it back to the dormitory. Not long after, she was infected with ringworm. For the safety of the baby, it is better to be safe." The fat cat lay in the cage, licking his paws from time to time, and it seemed to enjoy it. Not long after, Zhang Yuxi returned home and saw the fat cat. "Wow. What a fat cat. Honey, did you buy this cat?" Lin Feng shook his head. "No, it ran in by itself." "A stray cat?" Zhang Yuxi asked. "Honey, what are you going to do?" "Take care of the baby later. I'll take this fat cat to the hospital." After lunch, Lin Feng put the fat cat in a cardboard box. Then he drove and took it to a nearby pet hospital for a full-body checkup. After the checkup, the doctor said to Lin Feng, "The cat is very healthy and has no diseases. It should have been a domestic cat before and had a sterilization operation. Then why did it run in?" Lin Feng asked in confusion. "It should be hungry. I think it has been a stray cat for more than half a year." The doctor touched the fat cat's head and said with a smile, "It has a good personality." Lin Feng nodded and asked the pet hospital to give the cat a bath and then give it 2 shots of vaccine. He also bought a bag of cat food and canned cat food in the store. Finally, the clerk took the washed fat cat to Lin Feng's arms. Meow. The fat cat lay in Lin Feng's arms, squinting its eyes, and seemed to be a little sleepy. It made a cooing sound. Lin Feng's heart softened. "Let's go, I'll take you home." Lin Feng held the fat cat, left the pet hospital, and drove home. Back home, Lin Feng put the fat cat on the ground. "Wife, you watch the cat, I'll make a nest for it." Okay. Zhang Yuxi also liked this fat cat. She walked over and rubbed its head. Lin Feng made a nest for the fat cat in the corner of the living room. He also put water and food bowls next to it. Lin Feng came over and saw that the fat cat was squatting on the ground, looking up at the babies on the sofa. Zhang Yuxi was lying on the sofa, playing with the babies. This picture is very harmonious. As a result, the next second, the fat cat made a move that shocked the couple. It suddenly jumped onto the sofa. Then, it squatted on the sofa, looking at the babies, motionless. Zhang Yuxi was startled. Lin Feng frowned and made a bold decision. "Wife, come out. Let's see if the cat will hurt the babies when facing them alone." Since he decided to raise this fat cat, it is inevitable that he will encounter scenes where the cat is alone with the baby in the future. So Lin Feng wants to do a test. Zhang Yuxi hesitated and left the sofa. The two hid behind the curtains, staring at the fat cat's every move. After Zhang Yuxi left, the babies began to look for their mother. Just at this time, the fat cat called a few times, attracting the attention of the babies. Then, the fat cat stretched and walked towards the babies. When the babies saw this furry meatball, they immediately became interested and wanted to grab it with their hands. Dabao was the most naughty. He grabbed the fat cat's butt and grabbed its tail. Seeing this scene, the couple was scared. After all, the tiger's butt cannot be touched. The cat's tail is also its taboo. Just when they thought that the fat cat was going to hurt the baby and were about to jump out to stop it, the fat cat meowed twice. Then it swung its tail and started playing with Dabeo. This made Dabeo giggle. The other babies also crawled over, touched the fat cat's head, and babbled at it. When the babies saw new things, they would be very excited and would not hold back when they played. Dabeo hugged the cat and wanted to ride on it, but he fell down accidentally. Fortunately, there was a cushion on the sofa, so he would be fine even if he fell down. The cat was ridden by Dabeo, and it still meowed gently a few times, and then moved away. It seems this fat cat seems to like the babies very much. Chapter 87, Hostel and Lan. After playing for a while, the babies were tired. Except for Dabeo, who was still playing with the fat cat, the other three lay on the sofa and fell asleep. Finally, Dabeo also fell asleep with a purring fat cat in his arms. At this time, the couple came out from behind the curtains. Seeing this scene, my heart was suddenly warmed. This cat has a good personality. It was bullied by the babies one after another, but it not only didn't get angry, but also coaxed them to sleep. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but sighed. The doctor said it was very healthy and had no infectious diseases, and I also gave it 2 shots of vaccination. Wife, let's take it in. Lin Feng suggested. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Okay, then I'll have to trouble my husband to take care of the babies and cats in the future. It's not hard. Lin Feng was very fortunate. He was able to meet such a sensible cat. Otherwise, he really didn't know what to do. In the evening, Lan returned home. He heard a cat meowing in the house. Wow! Do you have a cat? Where is it? Lan looked around and soon saw a yellow ball of flesh. It was squatting under the sofa, meowing at the babies. What a cute big fat cat. Lan walked over and wanted to pick up the fat cat. As a result, the fat cat dodged flexibly and jumped to the other side of the sofa. Lan felt a little sorry, turned around and picked up Dabeo, inhaling the milky fragrance on him. As a result, the fat cat arched its body and bared its teeth at Lan, as if it was going to bite her. Lan was startled and quickly put Dabeo back to its original position. The cat also became docile again. Lan was silent for a while, and started to pick up her Bao again. The cat arched its body again. Oh my! This cat has become a spirit. Lan stepped on her slippers and ran to the kitchen, and told Lin Feng about it. Lin Feng came out and took a look. Sure enough, this fat cat wanted to protect the 4 babies. Lan was surprised and said, Boss Lin, you are so lucky. I picked up a stray cat, and it can actually help you take care of your baby. Lin Feng also found it strange. Maybe it's because you don't have our scent on you. So the cat thinks you are a bad person. In order to verify Lin Feng's statement, Lan planned to do an experiment. She washed her hands with baby shower gel. When she came out, she saw Zhang Yuxi sitting on the sofa teasing the baby. In addition, Ru the cat. The cat cooperated very well and made a gurgling sound. Lan walked over quietly and put on the coat that Zhang Yuxi took off. Now, she should have a familiar smell on her body. She sat on the sofa, and the cat, who was purring just now, suddenly became alert. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lan in surprise. Lan tried to Ru the cat, and the cat arched its body directly. She gave up and wanted to tease the baby, but the cat almost came over to bite her. After repeated experiments several times, Lan gave up completely. She left the sofa angrily, her chest rising and falling, staring at the cat fiercely. Zhang Yuxi also saw that the cat was trying to protect its owner. She smiled and comforted Lan, you are so grown up, there is no need to bother with the cat. It can't tell good from bad. Lan stamped her feet in anger. Zhang Yuxi shook her head helplessly and touched the fat cat's head. Little cat, that's Anton. Although she looks bad, she is a good woman. Don't be mean to her, okay? The cat licked its mouth and ignored Zhang Yuxi. It still squatted beside the baby, staring at Lan vigilantly. Lan sighed and didn't intend to bother with the fat cat. After all, she was not a child. She turned and walked towards the kitchen. Boss Lin, the chef will be here tomorrow, you teach him. Okay. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said, it happens that I have a day off tomorrow, so I can have a big meal. Ha ha ha, I thought so too. Lan swallowed and said. Lin Feng not only made complimentary food for the baby, but also cooked chicken breast for the cat. Alice. Mr. Lin now has a heavier burden. And Lan said jokingly. Lin Feng put the chicken breast in the cat's food bowl. Then he took the egg paste and prepared to feed the baby. But Dabao, who usually likes to eat complimentary food, was particularly uncooperative today. He even overturned the bowl and looked like he was in a bad mood. Lin Feng held him and checked him carefully. Wife, come and see. Zhang Yuxi's heart skipped a beat and she ran over quickly. Honey, what's wrong? Is Dabao okay? Seeing this, Lan also walked over worriedly. There were 2 white millet grains in Dabao's mouth. Lin Feng pointed at them and asked, Dabao, is this a blister or a tooth? Zhang Yuxi widened her eyes and looked carefully at what was in Dabao's mouth. She said very confidently, Honey, this is a tooth. And Lan came over and said as if she was watching the fun. Let me see what the baby teeth look like. Immediately, Lan smiled and said, This is obviously a baby tooth. How can it be a bubble? Zhang Yuxi comforted Dabao. Oh, our Dabao has baby teeth. Does he feel uncomfortable? Mommy hugs you. Lin Feng picked up Bao. See if Bao has grown. Bao has grown a little bit, very small, and you can't see it without looking carefully. Sanbao has been eating complimentary food for a while, and she doesn't drool much, plus she doesn't like to laugh much. So Lin Feng didn't notice that she had teeth. And she grew faster than Dabao. Sibao, bald. The baby is half a year old, and it is normal to grow baby teeth. After all, some babies have started to grow baby teeth when they are about 4 months old. At night, Dabao hummed and groaned to express his discomfort with growing teeth. The cat came to the crib, carefully leaned next to Dabao, and snored. Dabao directly pulled the cat over and held it in his arms. The cat did not struggle, but made a purring sound to accompany Dabao to sleep. Listening to the cat's purring, Dabao also calmed down and gradually fell asleep. This scene was seen by Lin Feng. Lin Feng praised the cat, You are also a little angel like the babies. Thank you for helping me take care of the babies. You don't have a name yet, how about calling you Fifi? Lin Feng admitted that he was bad at naming. In order to let the cat eat cat food on the second floor, Lin Feng brought up the extra cat food bowls, and temporarily placed the cat toilet in the bathroom. After finishing all this, Lin Feng returned to the bedroom. Fifi also came out of the crib and slept on the floor. Lin Feng was afraid that it would catch a cold, so he brought up its nest and put Fifi in it. Lin Feng touched its little head. Good night. Meow. Fifi responded to Lin Feng. Chapter 88, Teaching Disciple. Ding. Because the host has let the baby come into contact with small animals, he has fulfilled his father's responsibility. A life-extending pill is rewarded. Life-extending pill. It has the effect of resurrecting the dead and can give a dying person a new life. As soon as Lin Feng lay down, the voice of the system came from his mind. Life-extending pill? This is a good thing. As long as you have this pill, it is equivalent to having an extra life. Whether it is used for parents or exchanged for money, it is a priceless treasure. Lin Feng's heart was full of excitement. Soon, he turned on high-quality sleep and fell asleep. The next day, Lin Feng was watching TV in the living room. And Lan received a call and walked directly outside the villa. A fat young man of the same age as Lin Feng walked into the villa with a gift. And Lan knew him. His name was Shang Xiaolong, and he was an apprentice in her father's hotel. He had a baby face and was the second child in the family, so everyone called him Shuanger. And Lan came forward to say hello. Come here, why bring a gift? Shang Xiaolong was holding a fruit basket and baby toys in his hands, and it was obvious that he was thoughtful. Sister Lan, this is what Mr. An asked me to bring. Shang Xiaolong touched his head. In fact, An Lan's father just told him that Lin Feng had a child. He didn't ask him to bring a gift at all. But when visiting, you can't come empty-handed, right? He still understands this bit of social etiquette. And Lan introduced Lin Feng and the others. This is my father's apprentice in the hotel. His name is Shang Xiaolong. You can just call him Shuanger. Don't be fooled by his silly appearance, but he is an excellent cook. Shang Xiaolong was a little flattered and waved his hands quickly, saying, No, Sister Lan is flattering me. And Lan patted his shoulder, Don't be modest. Then, An Lan introduced Shang Xiaolong. This is Mr. Lin, he is my best friend's husband, and also our partner this time. Lin Feng nodded at Shang Xiaolong. Hello, Mr. Lin. Shang Xiaolong came over and shook hands with Lin Feng. The two of them greeted each other. Next, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi into the kitchen and prepared to teach him how to cook. And Lan stood aside, ready to watch. Zhang Yuxi was specifically requested by Lan. She had seen this kid before, full of ambition. But in the back kitchen, there was no opportunity to display his talents. After all, the chefs of Lan's father's hotel had decades of experience in the industry. It is too difficult to squeeze them out. She took the initiative to contact Zhang Yuxi and told him that there would be great room for development in Guangzhou. And the salary would be a little higher than that in Shanghai. Hearing this, Zhang Yuxi came overnight without saying a word. Lin Feng put on a cute bunny apron. I'll show you once. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me. Zhang Yuxi nodded and said humbly, okay, Mr. Lin. Lin Feng explained to Zhang Yuxi while doing it. As long as Zhang Yuxi didn't understand anything, Lin Feng would teach him everything he knew and never keep anything to himself. After all, Lin Feng's cooking skills were acquired through the system. He doesn't have to worry about teaching his apprentices to starve to death. For him, only by teaching his employees can he get the greatest benefits. Lin Feng's words benefited Zhang Yuxi a lot. Other masters would definitely not explain this knowledge in such detail. After listening to this, Zhang Yuxi felt that he had benefited a lot and thanked him repeatedly. Thank you, Mr. Lin, for your guidance. Okay, come on. Lin Feng took off his apron and stepped aside. Seeing Zhang Yuxi looking at him with admiration, her eyes were full of little stars. Lin Feng smiled at her and turned his head to continue supervising Zhang Yuxi. Make the fire bigger. Don't be afraid, as long as you stir the wok fast enough, the fire won't catch up with you. And Lan laughed at the side. Mr. Lin, can you stop being so funny? Okay. After Zhang Yuxi's operation, Lin Feng was still very satisfied. And Lan and Zhang Yuxi picked up chopsticks and began to taste. Although Zhang Yuxi did a good job, it was still a little worse than Lin Feng. However, Lan was already very satisfied. Not bad, Zhang, you have to keep up the good work. For the next dishes, Lin Feng taught him everything he knew. Zhang Yuxi was extremely grateful to Lin Feng. But he was tongue-tied and not good at expressing himself, so he had to bow to Lin Feng. Lin Feng hurriedly helped him up. Don't be so polite. You will be the chef of our hotel from now on. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me at any time. Zhang Yuxi was very excited. Thank you, Mr. Lin. Lin Feng smiled. This Zhang Yuxi is also a simple and honest person. At night, Zhang Yuxi temporarily stayed in the guest room on the first floor. The next day, when Lan was washing up, she thought of a problem. I have to rent a house for Zhang Yuxi. I can't let him sleep in the hotel if I ask him to come over myself, right? So Lan took out her mobile phone and opened the Lianjia app. I rented a boutique apartment for Zhang Yuxi near Wanda Plaza. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Lin Feng got up. I found that Zhang Yuxi had already made breakfast and was eating with Lan. There were too many things today, otherwise Lan would not have gotten up so early. She sat at the dining table, answering messages while drinking milk, with heavy dark circles under her eyes. After Zhang Yuxi finished breakfast, he packed his luggage and said goodbye to Lin Feng. Now, Zhang Yuxi's car is temporarily driven by Lan. After the restaurant opens, Lan plans to rent a house nearby so that she doesn't have to run back and forth all day. Zhang Yuxi has classes today, otherwise she would also like to go to the restaurant with Lan. But now it seems that they can only wait until the opening. After Zhang Yuxi left, Lin Feng was the only one left in the villa. Today, it was still a dull daily life for a dad. Zhang Yuxi didn't come back until the evening, and Lin Feng planned to make do at noon. Just make complimentary food for the baby. And the task of taking care of the baby was given to Fei Fei. After a busy morning, Lin Feng planned to use high-quality sleep and take a rest after the babies fell asleep. But at this moment, Zhang Yuxi came back. She was sent back by Tang Zilfen. She caught a cold and is a little dizzy. I was worried that she would get into trouble alone, so I sent her back. Lin Feng looked inside Tang Zilfeng's car. Zhang Yuxi was sitting crookedly, looking listless. Lin Feng picked her up and ran to the villa. Teacher Tang, please sit down for a while. It's okay, you go take care of Teacher Zhang first. After Lin Feng went upstairs, Tang Zilfen began to look at the villa. Really? She was almost possessed by a sour grape. From the old community, to Rongte Haoding, and then to the current villa. This is the husband of someone else's family. The key is that teacher Zhang is so hardworking even though his family is so rich. How can she feel embarrassed about this? Lin Feng put Zhang Yuxi on the bed and frowned. You were fine when you went out this morning. How come you are sick? Zhang Yuxi smiled at him weakly. Don't worry, husband. I have taken medicine and will be well soon. Lin Feng nodded. Then you'll rest first. Teacher Tang is still downstairs. I will go to entertain her first. Okay. Lin Feng went downstairs and poured Tang Zilifan a glass of water. Teacher Tang, thank you so much for today. Stay for dinner tonight. Although Tang Zilifan also wanted to eat the food made by Lin Feng. But Han Wen was not there. She was still a little embarrassed to be alone. No, I have classes in the afternoon. Let's do it another day. Okay. After seeing Tang Zilifan off, Lin Feng went upstairs to see Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi was sleeping soundly. Wife? Zhang Yuxi didn't respond after calling her several times. Lin Feng then activated the 9 needles of Hua Tuo and gave Zhang Yuxi 2 needles. Zhang Yuxi's face gradually became rosy. She slowly opened her eyes and felt much more comfortable. Wife? How do you feel? Zhang Yuxi nodded. Much better, but I still feel a little tired. Yes. Then you have a good rest. Lin Feng covered Zhang Yuxi with a quilt. He put on his clothes and went downstairs to feed the babies complimentary food. Fifi would come over from time to time and rub against Lin Feng's thigh, as if he wanted to eat too. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Hotel Opening. 3 days later, the restaurant officially opened. This date was specially selected by Lan who asked a fortune teller. Lin Feng and his family dressed up for the event. When they arrived at the restaurant, they found that there were not many customers. Zhang Yuxi's heart skipped a beat. Where are the customers? And Lan smiled and said, they all went to work after dinner. Today is a trial operation, and there are still many customers in the morning. Lin Feng also explained to Zhang Yuxi. Because the restaurant was initially opened, the target customers were all nearby workers. They had to go to work at 7 in the morning, so they had to eat earlier. Zhang Yuxi nodded, so that's how it is. She was stunned when she saw that there were no customers in the restaurant just now. After all, this restaurant cost Lan a lot of effort. If it lost money, how sad would she be? Seeing Lan smiling and in a good mood, it seems that the business is very good. Zhang Yuxi was relieved immediately. In addition to Shuang Xiaolong, the chef, this restaurant also has 2 other kitchen assistants and 5 waiters. And Lan became a cashier. As a cashier, you won't be able to sleep late in the future. Oh, by the way, have you found a house? And Lan pointed to a nearby building. I was looking for a house for Shuang Xiaolong yesterday, and I found a single apartment there. I rented one by the way, and I plan to live there for a while. After the restaurant is on track and can run on its own, I will find a cashier sister. And Lan has been spoiled since she was a child. But since she decorated the store, she has had dark circles under her eyes. Now that the store is finally open, she is full of strength. There will be more customers at 12 o'clock. You guys sit down, I'll go to the kitchen to see how the preparations are going. Lin Feng nodded. He settled Zhang Yuxi and the babies. Wife, I'll go to the kitchen to see. Call me if you need anything. Okay. In order to create the image of the restaurant, Lan also installed surveillance in the kitchen. The surveillance screen is projected on the wall. Let the guests who come to eat see the situation in the back kitchen clearly. Before Lin Feng walked into the kitchen, he heard the sound of ding dong dong coming from inside. The kitchen is very well designed, with a glass partition with some ingredients inside. Moreover, it is equipped with a computer. It looks very high-end and atmospheric. The chefs inside are all transferred from Lan's father's hotel. They are serious and meticulous in their work, and are extremely cautious in treating each dish, for fear of making mistakes. Seeing Lin Feng coming in, Lan went to greet him. Boss Lin, if there are not enough people later, I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you. After all, the first day of opening is the time when the customer flow is the highest. It must be noon and evening. Lin Feng smiled and said, it's okay, what's the trouble? Okay. It's almost time for dinner, I'll go to the front desk first. Lan coughed lightly and stood at the front desk looking forward to it. She was still very confident in Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng's cooking skills. She believed that the workers who came to eat in the morning would definitely come back at noon. And they would bring more customers. Not long after, a group of workers came in. Seeing this group of customers, Lan's heart was trembling. This is all money. Money. Boss, give me an A-set meal. Okay, A-set meal, right. Would you like some soup? Our soup is also very delicious. Okay. Soon the guests came in one after another. The first floor was full, and only the second floor had seats left. Boss, there are still seats on the second floor. Those who don't have seats can go to the second floor. Lan greeted at the door. At this time, not only the workers nearby, many passers-by who came to the mall were also attracted by Lan's greetings. Of course, more male compatriots. They all came for Lan's sexy and hot figure. While waiting for the dishes, everyone looked at the environment inside the store and talked about it. This store is well decorated, like a big hotel. Yes, their prices are also very affordable. I just don't know, how does it taste? I hope it's not too bad. If it's delicious, I'll come here often. Seeing the crowds of customers in the store, Lan was also a little panicked. She hurried to the back kitchen and urged, "Comrades, hurry up." Seeing this, Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng beside her, "Go to the kitchen and see if you need help. Leave it to me, it's okay." Okay. Some customers have already started to urge for the dishes. Lin Feng walked into the kitchen, tied an apron, put on a mask, and prepared to show his skills. Zhang Yuxi was busy, and turned his head to see Lin Feng coming in. "Boss Lin." Lin Feng nodded and turned on, God-level cooking skills. The speed of cooking was so fast that it flew. Zhang Yuxi stood aside, and the whole person was dumbfounded. "Don't be in a daze, hurry up." Oh. Zhang Yuxi came back to his senses and started cooking. In less than a few minutes, a plate of dishes with good color, fragrance and taste were freshly baked. As the bell rang, the waiter came over and brought the dishes to the customer's table. Seeing these delicious dishes, the customers drooled. "This restaurant is really good, the food is so delicious. Especially the pickled fish, the taste is amazing. Not only is it delicious, but the price is also very affordable. I will come again next time." Hearing the praises from the customers around her, Lan showed a satisfied smile on her face. Chapter 90 Business is booming. From noon, they worked until 2 in the afternoon. Only then did Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi have time to rest. "Thank you for your hard work, boss." Lan brought a stool and asked Lin Feng to sit down. "It's really thanks to Mr. Lin today. Otherwise, the customers would definitely get angry and leave. It seems that the store will have to hire a few more chefs in the future." Lin Feng nodded in agreement. "At first, I thought that Zhang Yuxi and 2 kitchen helpers would be enough. Now it seems that I may have to hire 2 more chefs." Thinking of this, Lan was a little embarrassed. The store needs manpower these days, but Mr. Lin has to take care of the children. What should I do? Forget it, let's put this aside for now. Just now a customer asked me if we have cold dishes and braised meat in the store. I'm happy to collect the money, so I told them we have it in the evening and asked them to come over after get off work to eat. What should we do now? Should we go somewhere else to buy braised meat for them? Zhang Yuxi stepped forward and said, "No, we can make it ourselves, which can also save costs." Lan thought so too, but she was afraid that she would not have enough time. They get off work at 6 o'clock. Let's count it as 6 o'clock. There are still 4 hours now. Is it in time? Zhang Yuxi patted his chest. "In time. As long as we boil the brine and buy meat at the same time, it will be no problem at all." Lan looked at Lin Feng and was a little embarrassed to speak. Lin Feng came here to help today. Moreover, he is the largest shareholder of this store, and he can't let Lan do everything. He stood up and said, "I'll boil the brine, and you go buy the braised dishes." "I'll buy them, you eat first." Zhang Yuxi stepped forward and said. Lin Feng boiled the brine in the kitchen and went out to eat when he was free. Not long after, Zhang Yuxi came back with meat and vegetables. He could not help but exclaimed, "What a nice smell." Because the brine was boiled for a short time, the color was still light, but the aroma was very strong. Lin Feng turned down the heat and prepared to put the meat and vegetables in. "You go eat, I'll do it." "No, Mr. Lin, you should take a rest. Go eat quickly, so you can have the strength to work at night." Seeing Lin Feng's tough attitude, Shang Xiaolong had to go out to eat obediently. Lin Feng picked up the bag and poured all the meat and vegetables into the big pot. Pork, beef, chicken wings, chicken legs, pig's trotters. All kinds of ingredients were poured into the big pot, and white smoke came out instantly. For hard goods like pig's head, Lin Feng first washed it with a brush, and then kept piercing the pig's head with steel nails. This makes it easier to taste. Then blanch it in water, and finally put it in the brine to simmer. After putting the ingredients in, the next step is to wait for time to taste. Lin Feng was almost done with his work when Shang Xiaolong came in. "Boss Lin, I'm done, let me do it." Lin Feng was not polite, nodded and said, "Okay, then I'll go see the kids." Taking off his apron, Lin Feng left the kitchen and came to the backstage lounge. Seeing Zhang Yuxi and the baby sleeping soundly, he couldn't bear to disturb them, so he went back to the restaurant. At this time, Lan came back from outside and bought some kelp and dried tofu. Put them all in and stew them in one pot. Lan's legs trembled with exhaustion. It's really hard to make money, and shit is hard to eat. But it feels good to be able to make money through your own efforts. Looking at the time, there's still an hour until 6 o'clock in the evening. The stewed food can be done. Taking advantage of this gap, Lan called her father and asked him to send more people over. If this continues, it will really be exhausting. At this time, Liu Bo also finished his work in the store and came to the restaurant. "Bossin, good luck with the opening." Lan smiled, "You came just in time, the store is short of staff, I'll trouble you later." "No problem, I'll take your orders," Liu Bo said honestly. In the evening, there are more customers than at noon. It is probably the crowd effect, many of them come here because of its reputation. Before 7 o'clock, the store was full of people, and there were people waiting in line outside to get numbers. Business is very hot. "Boss, do you have braised food now?" "Boss, give me a dozen beers." "Boss, another serving of braised beef." Lan smiled and responded to the customers, okay, I'll be right there." Many passers-by saw Lan standing at the door to solicit business. I wanted to go in and take a look, but when I saw the crowded appearance inside, I could only shake my head and leave. Lan had no choice. As long as there was room in the store, she would never let these people go. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the guests left one after another. Lan also breathed a sigh of relief, finally serving the guests. She couldn't wait to settle the bill. Business is so good today, the turnover must be amazing. Lin Feng came over and said, "Lan, we're leaving first." "Okay, thank you, Mr. Lin. I'll come again tomorrow at noon." Lan hesitated for a moment, but finally refused. "No need, Mr. Lin, I've asked my dad to send a few chefs over. They will be in Yangcheng tonight and can come to work tomorrow." Lin Feng nodded, "Okay, then call me when you need me." How could Lan have the nerve to call? Lin Feng is also a busy man. Taking care of 4 babies is tiring enough for him, and too many people in the store is not good for the babies. She will definitely not let Lin Feng come. But she still smiled and said, "Okay, I'll find you if I have any questions. By the way, Mr. Lin, write me the recipe for the brine later." "Okay." In the car, Zhang Yuxi held her cheek and looked at the scenery outside. She couldn't help laughing, and Lan probably didn't expect that she would settle in Yangcheng and open a restaurant. Originally, she just came to visit herself. After attending the baby's half-year-old party, she told me that she wanted to go abroad to relax. "Wait until you calm down, then consider your future life plan." Lin Feng listened quietly, holding Zhang Yuxi's hand tightly. It seemed to be responding to Zhang Yuxi's impermanence. Outside, the wind blew. The weather gradually became cooler. After Zhang Yuxi experienced the last cold incident, she paid special attention to weather changes to prevent herself from catching a cold again. I heard from Tang Zifen that this was a confinement disease, and she should pay more attention in the future. In fact, she was just too busy those few days, and the weather was cold, so she caught a cold. Chapter 91 Winter vacation is coming. Back home. After a nice bath, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were getting ready for bed. Dabao, who had just grown his baby teeth, started to make a fuss because he was uncomfortable. In order not to affect Zhang Yuxi and other babies' sleep, Lin Feng carried him to the living room. Fifi circled Lin Feng, circling back and forth at his feet, meowing from time to time. It seemed that she was accompanying Lin Feng and comforting Dabao together. "Oh, Dabao, don't cry, Daddy is here. Is Dabeo uncomfortable? It's okay, it will be fine after a while. Dabeo is a strong man, right? Lin Feng held Dabeo and kept coaxing him. He hoped to ease Dabeo's mood. But Dabeo pouted his mouth and looked pitiful. He nestled in Lin Feng's arms and sobbed. Lin Feng felt distressed. Be good, Dabeo, don't cry. Daddy will always be with you. Lin Feng put Dabeo on his lap. He gently stroked his head. It was already 1 o'clock in the morning when Dabeo fell asleep. Lin Feng returned to the room and carefully put the eldest baby back into the crib. The second baby also started to grow milk teeth, and he wondered if he would also be upset at that time. Lin Feng felt a headache when he thought about it. However, as a father, he had to go through these things. Lin Feng was about to go to bed when he suddenly received a message on his phone. Lin Feng turned on his phone and took a look. He found that it was from Lan. Mr. Lin, guess how much the restaurant's turnover was today? Before Lin Feng could reply, Lan sent another WhatsApp message. A full 200,000. Ha ha ha, we are going to get rich this time. Lin Feng seemed to be able to imagine Lan laughing so hard that she was shaking with laughter. He shook his head, sent her an emoticon pack, and then fell asleep. The next day, Lin Feng got up on time. While the babies were still sleeping, he hurried to make breakfast. When he returned to the bedroom again, Zhang Yuxi had woken up. Wife, why did you get up so early today? I'm going to be the invigilator later. Zhang Yuxi asked Lin Feng while feeding Sebeo. Husband, the school is about to have the final exam. How are you reviewing? Do you have confidence? The 1-month exam week is finally coming to an end. This means that the winter vacation is coming soon. Lin Feng smiled and said confidently, Wife, you don't have to worry about me. Your husband, I can handle these college exams with just a little study. Husband, you are so amazing. What's amazing about you? Zhang Yuxi heard this and said shyly. Everything is amazing. The longer I get along with you, the better you will find you. In the past, she thought Lin Feng was younger than her. More or less, she would have prejudice in her heart and think that Lin Feng was more naive. But the longer she got along with him, Zhang Yuxi found how ridiculous her idea was. Her husband is not only mature, but also gentle and considerate, and he is very good to her and the baby. A man like this, it's really hard to find a lantern. Thinking of this, Zhang Yuxi's love for Lin Feng became even stronger. Lin Feng could feel his wife's love for him. This feeling was great. Just ask, which man doesn't want to be loved and admired by his wife? Although Zhang Yuxi was very anxious, he still took good care of the babies before going out. Drive slowly. I know, husband. Lin Feng returned to the living room and put the babies on the sofa, letting them move freely. Fei Fei squatted aside, watching over the 4 babies like a guard. During this period, the school will have the final exams. The teachers are very busy. Zhang Yuxi always brings lunch to school. Mom is so hardworking. Can we stew black chicken soup for Mom in the evening? Lin Feng chatted with the babies while busying himself in the kitchen. Fei Fei smelled the smell, came to Lin Feng's feet and rubbed it. Lin Feng tore off a piece of the blanched black chicken meat and put it in Fei Fei's mouth. Oh woo! Fei Fei held the chicken in his mouth and swallowed it directly. Then he left contentedly, returned to the living room, and continued to take care of the baby. Lin Feng put the pot on the stove and slowly stewed the black chicken soup. Just then, Dabeo's babbling voice came from outside. Lin Feng hurried out and saw Dabeo pouting and making a fuss on the ground. Since growing milk teeth, Dabeo, who was originally strong and brave, has also become delicate. During the day, he likes to be held by Lin Feng. When he is uncomfortable, he also likes to lean on Fei Fei and sleep on his belly. Lin Feng put Dabeo on his legs and gently stroked his back. Looking out the window, the cold wind was whistling. Lin Feng was stunned. Time flies so fast. It seems that the new year is coming soon. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and looked at the calendar. In a few days, the school will be on vacation. When the winter vacation comes, the end of the year will not be far away. Where should I go to celebrate the new year this year? Should I go back to the Lin family, or to my wife's house? Or just spend it in Yancheng? After thinking about it, Lin Feng felt that it would be better to go back to the Lin family. The Lin family is also in Nanyu province. If you take the highway from Yancheng, you can drive back home in 5 or 6 hours. But if you want to drive back by yourself, you have to leave at night. After all, it's the end of the year, and it would be no fun if there is a traffic jam on the highway. As Lin Feng thought about it, his soul began to wander. He was awakened by the sound of whoosh whoosh from the kitchen. Oops. The black chicken soup is still cooking. Thinking of this, Lin Feng hurriedly got up and ran to the kitchen. Turn off the fire. Fortunately, the soup has not dried up yet. It can be saved. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Zhang Yuxi returned home. It smells so good. Is it black chicken soup? As soon as she walked into the house, she was attracted by the fragrance and couldn't help asking. Lin Feng brought the soup to the table and asked her to come over to drink. The two sat together and drank the hot black chicken soup. How is it? Not bad. Yes. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Thank you, husband. Chapter 92 rewards you with a motorhome. At night, Dabao started crying again because of teething. Lin Feng held him and went to the living room. Fifi squatted at his feet, gurgling non-stop. Tonight, Dabao was obviously much stronger. He fell asleep after crying for a while. Lin Feng put Dabao back in the crib and prepared to lie down and sleep. Every night, Lan would report today's sales to him. Because the southern new district is some distance away from the villa, so Lin Feng would not drive over to check it out if he had nothing to do. But seeing the sales, it is growing exponentially. I think the business should be good. Outside, the cold wind was slapping against the window. It should be colder tomorrow. Thinking about it, Lin Feng activated high-quality sleep and fell into deep sleep. Time slipped away quietly. In a blink of an eye, it was the day of the last exam. After taking this subject, the school will have winter vacation. Lin Feng will definitely take the exam, and there will be a party at school. I won't attend the party. Lin Feng teased Dabao. Dad has to squeeze out time to accompany the babies. Dabao has already survived the most difficult days of growing baby teeth. Now Dabao has become the brave and strong man they know. The other 3 babies seem to have started to grow teeth recently. Lin Feng now has experience and can handle the baby's baby teeth with ease. Zhang Yuxi told Lin Feng the time and place of the exam. I will ask for leave from school on the day of your exam. Leave the baby to me. Lin Feng nodded, okay. In a blink of an eye. It was the day of the exam. Although it was just one subject, the exam was divided into 2 parts. So Lin Feng had to spend the day at school. He wore a white sweatshirt, a hat, and jeans on the lower body. He looked very sunny and handsome. When he came to the classroom, everyone's eyes turned to him. The female students from other departments exclaimed when they saw Lin Feng. Wow, there's a handsome guy over there. Which department is he from? He's so handsome, he shouldn't have a girlfriend, right? Lin Feng walked to his seat and heard the discussions around him, and couldn't help but smile. No girlfriend? Are you underestimating yourself? The kid is almost playing with soy sauce. Soon, the class bell rang. A Mediterranean teacher walked in and said with a serious expression, put away all your mobile phones. If I find out who is cheating secretly, then I'm sorry, just take the test paper and leave, and wait for the makeup exam next semester. As soon as the voice fell, everyone was shocked. Some timid students hurriedly put the cheat sheet on the table back into their pockets. Give up the idea of cheating. After all, if you do it yourself, you may still pass the exam. If you are caught cheating, you will be completely finished. In this regard, Lin Feng is very calm. He doesn't need to cheat at all. These questions are a piece of cake for him. In less than half an hour, he finished the test paper. In the surprised eyes of everyone, he stood up directly. I handed in the paper ahead of time and finished the exam. Horizontal ellipsis. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Feng returned home ahead of time. I'm back. Oh, it's Daddy who's back. Before he entered the house, Lin Feng heard the baby's happy laughter to welcome him. After changing his shoes, Lin Feng put down his backpack and walked towards the living room. At this time, the babies were sitting on the cushions. Seeing Lin Feng coming back, they grinned and were extremely happy. Dabao even made a sound similar to Dad. The first thing Lin Feng did when he came here was not to hug the 4 babies. Instead, he kissed his big baby wife. Thank you for your hard work, my wife. How are you today? In the morning, in addition to breakfast, Lin Feng also prepared lunch for Zhang Yuxi. There were also complimentary foods for the babies. So Zhang Yuxi didn't do anything all day. But even so, she felt very tired, so she felt more distressed for Lin Feng. I had a good day today. The babies missed you so much? Zhang Yuxi told Lin Feng an interesting story about Dabao. When she was taking care of Dabao today, Dabao would crawl to the kitchen from time to time. At first, Zhang Yuxi didn't know what Dabao was going to do. It wasn't until Dabao opened his eyes and started looking around that she understood. It turned out that Dabao was looking for his father. Dabao and other babies looked out the door from time to time. Even with Zhang Yuxi there, they seemed absent-minded. After listening to Zhang Yuxi's story, Lin Feng felt warm in his heart. Unexpectedly, the babies were so close to him. After being away for a long time, they began to miss him. Lin Feng sat down, and the babies saw Lin Feng and crawled towards him. Lin Feng opened his arms. "Come on, come to daddy." Zhang Yuxi cheered and encouraged him. "Come on, baby, come on, baby." Dabao was the most energetic and was a little uncomfortable with crawling at first. But he gradually mastered the skills, crawled in the front, and laughed so happily. But Dabao lay on the ground and refused to move after crawling for a while. Dabao followed Dabao closely, with a sense of women not inferior to men. Dabao was distracted by toys while crawling. He changed his route temporarily and crawled towards the place where the toys were placed. Finally, Dabao and Dabao came to Lin Feng's arms. "The babies are great. Come on, one kiss each." Dabao saw that there was a kiss. She was playing with toys, so she immediately threw away the toys and hurried over. "Dabao is good, one kiss too." As for Dabao, his principal, "Just sleep where you fall." At this time, he was lying on the ground, looking a little sleepy. Lin Feng walked over and picked him up. "Anan, you are such a lazy bug." Dabao opened his eyes and smiled at him. Lin Feng's heart softened immediately. "One kiss for you too." After interacting with the babies, Lin Feng walked into the kitchen and started to cook dinner. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said to the kitchen, "Husband, the babies are crawling to find you again." Lin Feng quickly put down the spoon and ran out of the kitchen. Seeing the babies, they were looking at him enthusiastically. He squatted down and said softly, "Dad is cooking. Can I play with you later?" The babies understood what Lin Feng said. They sat down one after another, tilting their heads to look in the direction of the kitchen. Zhang Yuxi thought they were so cute. She quickly took out her mobile phone and saved this beautiful scene in the album. Soon, Lin Feng prepared dinner. He brought 3 dishes and a soup to the table. Lin Feng ate this meal very happily because the winter vacation was finally about to begin. This also meant that he and Zhang Yuxi had more time to spend together. At night, when the babies fell asleep, Lin Feng got behind Zhang Yuxi and had a deep conversation with her. Zhang Yuxi fell asleep because she was tired. Lin Feng got up and went to see the babies. At this moment, the system's voice came again. "Ding, because the host has accompanied the baby for 100 days and fulfilled his responsibilities as a father, a reward of a RV Mercedes-Benz 315, the vehicle has been safely transferred, and compulsory traffic insurance, vehicle damage insurance, and third-party liability insurance have all been purchased. Note, the RV is parked in the villa garage." Chapter 93 The Best Man. The next day, after sending Zhang Yuxi to work, Lin Feng prepared to go and see the RV that the system rewarded. Lin Feng took the elevator to the basement of the villa. That is where the parking lot is. There was a BMW 320i and an electric car parked inside. Another Mini was driven to work by Zhang Yuxi. At this time, there was a silver-white RV in the parking space. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 315. Lin Feng just checked it online. This RV is worth nearly 1 million and can be said to be a high-end luxury car. The body lines are smooth and look very comfortable. The space inside is also very large. It can accommodate 7 or 8 people. Lin Feng opened the door and his eyes widened immediately. The interior space of the car is about 7 or 8 square meters. The decoration style is very simple, but it reveals a sense of nobility. The furniture in the car is all pure white. The front part of the car is inlaid with several rhinestones, which illuminate the originally black curtains into golden color. There are also several pots of flowers in the back seat. There are 2 double opening glass windows on the roof. The front seat of the car is a small sofa. On the sofa, there is a soft long-haired cushion. The most important thing is that there is a small bar in front of the car. On the bar, there are red wine and fruit plates. It can be seen that this is a place for rest and entertainment. Lin Feng sighed in his heart. No wonder rich people like RVs. This is really the ultimate enjoyment. After a careful inspection, Lin Feng couldn't help but give a thumbs up to the system in his heart. With an RV, they will be much more convenient. Now it is winter vacation, and the way home will not be so hard. In this case, let's go back to the Lin family during the new year. Lin Feng called Zhou Qilin. Mom, what are you busy with? Isn't it almost the new year? I bought some pork and prepared to make sausages. I will send some to you and my in-laws later. How much is the meat per pound this year? I went back to the countryside to buy a pig, more than 200 pounds, and the villagers charged me 20 yuan per pound, and finally charged me 5,000 yuan. Lin Feng nodded. The local pig is worth the price. I think so too. It tastes good. The price is secondary. By the way, what's the matter with you calling me? Lin Feng smiled and said, I just want to tell you that I'm going back to celebrate the new year this year. Are you all coming back? Yes. Zhou Qilin was silent for a moment. Will this be too much trouble? My grandson is still so young. Lin Feng smiled and said, it's okay, Mom. I'll take the highway and it will take 5 or 6 hours. Zhou Qilin was happy now, grinning. Okay, then I'll go clean up the bedroom now so that you can have a place to stay when you come back. You arrange it. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng felt all kinds of emotions in his heart. The Lin family is located in Micheng, in the northeast of Nanayu province. It is where Lin Feng grew up, full of his youthful memories. Baby, can we go back to Grandma's house for the new year this year? That's Dad's hometown. There are a lot of fun things. Dad will take you there to play when the time comes. Fifi came over with an elegant step and rubbed him. Lin Feng smiled and said, Fifi, do you also want to go back with us for the new year? Meow. Okay, I'll take you with me. In the evening, Zhang Yuxi dragged her tired body back. Today is the school's end of term dinner. After a busy semester, the school organized a dinner for the teachers. Zhang Yuxi came back after dinner. The remaining teachers were still fighting in the wine field, and even Tang Zifan drank. But everyone knew that Zhang Yuxi had just given birth to a baby, so no one persuaded Zhang Yuxi to drink. After Zhang Yuxi parked the car in the garage, she ran up. Excitedly said, Husband, where are you? Lin Feng knew that she was so excited, she must have seen the RV in the garage. Lin Feng called back from the kitchen, I'm here. Zhang Yuxi ran in and asked impatiently, Honey, did you buy that RV? Lin Feng nodded. I'm going back for the new year this year, so I thought about buying an RV. Then the babies will be comfortable to sit in. And in the future, we can also drive the RV to travel and take the babies around the world. Zhang Yuxi rushed over excitedly and hugged Lin Feng tightly. Honey, you're awesome. Why are you so awesome? I really like you so much. Lin Feng scratched her nose and smiled. Of course I'm awesome, your husband. Do you realize it now? Zhang Yuxi hugged Lin Feng and was unwilling to let go. Honey, then we have to prepare red envelopes when we go back this time. Who else is there in your family besides the relatives who came last time? How much do you think we should give in the red envelopes? Why not give 880 for good luck? But is that too little? But 8,800 is too much? Lin Feng looked at the busy Zhang Yuxi and smiled. Wife, don't worry. It's still some time before the Chinese New Year. Zhang Yuxi let go of Lin Feng, ran directly into the bedroom, and began to rummage through the boxes. No. I still have to prepare in advance. So that I won't be in a hurry. Okay, whatever you want. Just be happy. However, Zhang Yuxi's happiness and excitement also infected him. Who would have thought? After 2 years of college, he brought a wife and 4 babies back. In 3 days, Zhang Yuxi will have a holiday. The couple discussed that after the holiday, they would go shopping for clothes. At the same time, they would prepare gifts to take home. Because the closer it gets to the end of the year, the more likely it is to get stuck on the highway, so they plan to go back early. Today, Anlan rarely has time to come here. Because she hired a cashier, she can finally get away. Are you going back to Micheng for the new year? My parents also said that they would come to Yangcheng this year to spend the new year with me. I was thinking that we would have a good time together then. But the babies are still so young, can they bear to sit in the car for such a long time? Because the hotel is open during the new year. So Anlan plans to stay in Yangcheng and go through thick and thin with the hotel staff. Anlan's parents also support her, thinking of coming to Yangcheng this year to spend the new year with Anlan. Hearing this, Zhang Yuxi smiled and said, Lin Feng bought an RV, which has a lot of space inside, and the babies won't suffer. Hearing this, Anlan screamed. Fuck, is it true? Where is the RV? Take me to see it. And Lan had a dream when she was in college. That is to drive an RV, take the dog, and wander around the world together. While writing columns to earn royalties, while appreciating the beautiful mountains and rivers of the motherland. Coming to the garage, Lan was very satisfied with the RV. Oh, it's still a big Benz. Isn't it cheap? Seeing this RV, Lan's eyes never moved away. Entering the RV, she began to praise it again. I love this space. And this bar, we can stop by the river at night and have a drink together. That feeling is really wonderful. I really envy you guys. I also want to buy an RV and then travel around the world. And Lan is particularly persistent in her dream of traveling around the world. She looked at Zhang Yuxi enviously and said, Yuxi, I'm not saying anything bad about you. You must have saved the Milky Way in your previous life to meet a perfect man like Lin Feng. If it weren't for you being my best friend, I would have wanted to snatch him away. Zhang Yuxi smiled. She was also very happy to be praised by her best friend for her husband. Seeing Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng, Lan also had the idea of getting married and having a baby. However, she understood. She might not be able to meet a good man like Lin Feng. How about this? Let's go back to Michang for the new year, and you and your uncle and aunt can live here. How about that? The villa is empty anyway. Why not go with the flow and lend it to Lan's family? And Lan didn't bother to be polite with Lin Feng. Okay, I'll let them come directly when the time comes. Chapter 94 Preparations before going home. 3 days passed just like that. Starting tomorrow, Zhang Yuxi will officially enter her vacation. At this moment, she is sitting on the floor in the living room, playing with the babies and having a great time. Zhang Yuxi feels very happy to be with the babies. There is still half a month before the Chinese New Year. There are still many things to do during this period. Husband, let's go shopping tomorrow and buy some gifts or something. By the way, buy you a few clothes. Okay. It's almost the Chinese New Year. Buying a few new clothes can be regarded as a new year and a new look. At night, when sleeping, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi have been tossing a lot. Zhang Yuxi is like a weak shrimp, and the whole person collapses on the bed. Lin Feng's fighting power is really amazing, and you can always make her obedient. Anyway, Zhang Yuxi is really tired tonight. But she doesn't have to go to work tomorrow, so she can have a good rest. The next day, the sun was high in the sky. Zhang Yuxi slowly opened her eyes and walked down from upstairs. At this time, Lin Feng was already making lunch. Seeing Lin Feng, she was a little embarrassed. Hubby, aren't you tired? Lin Feng said jokingly. What do you mean? Zhang Yuxi snorted and ignored Lin Feng. She knew that Lin Feng was teasing her. Since taking the marrow cleansing pill, Lin Feng's physical fitness has skyrocketed. How could he be tired? Even if there are 5 more, he has no problem at all. After lunch, the couple took the baby and went out shopping together. They planned to go to Shanxiajiu pedestrian street and visit Liu Bo and the others. Liu Bo has been depressed recently, and Lin Feng saw the problem at a glance. Why, are you heartbroken? Fuck, brother, how did you know? I can tell from your look. In fact, Lin Feng knew that Liu Bo was interested in Chen Xiaotong. But he couldn't interfere in matters of love. Although they are in a superior-subordinate relationship, if they don't like it, they don't like it. He can't force others. Maybe, as time goes by, the two of them will fall in love with each other? It's okay, Bozi. With sincerity, even metal and stone can be broken. As long as you keep working hard, I believe Xiaotong will like you. Liu Bo looked at Chen Xiaotong who was busy in the store inside. I hope so. Lin Feng patted his shoulder. Come on. Because the Chinese New Year is coming soon, the business in the store is very good. Many customers are thinking about buying some baby products as gifts. Especially the gift box sets, which are selling very well. Many customers buy 5 or 6 sets at a time. Then you go ahead, I'll go buy something with your sister-in-law. Okay. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi are both good looking. Plus 4 cute babies. No matter where they go, they are the focus of everyone's attention. They have long been accustomed to this and strolled around the pedestrian street. But after wandering around, Zhang Yuxi didn't find a suitable gift. She was afraid that if she bought it, the other party would not like it. Would that be a waste? Seeing Zhang Yuxi frowning and looking frustrated, Lin Feng suggested. Give them money, they will definitely like it. And with the money, they can buy whatever they want, isn't it nice? Zhang Yuxi thought about it and it made sense. so she gave up the idea of buying gifts. Okay, then give them money. But you haven't bought your clothes yet. Soon. The two came to a clothing store. Lin Feng was 1.82 meters tall and well proportioned. After taking the marrow cleansing pill, the whole person was still carrying a noble aura. We have known each other for so long. This is the first time I buy clothes for you. Lin Feng smiled. I don't care about these superficial efforts. Hearing this, Zhang Yuxi nodded. Although she didn't say anything, she still felt a little ashamed. Zhang Yuxi took Lin Feng and walked into the store. I know this brand, it suits you very well. And she turned her head and looked at Lin Feng, with a shy look on her face. You are so handsome, you will look good in it. Lin Feng knew that this brand was a luxury men's clothing brand. The main target is young people, steady and energetic, and very popular among men of all ages. Of course, it is a luxury product. The price is definitely not cheap, the cheapest one is about 5,000 yuan. But this little money is nothing to Lin Feng now. He is not short of money. Zhang Yuxi took Lin Feng and kept wandering around the store. She was more excited than buying clothes by herself. This one, and this one. Take them all down and try them on. Zhang Yuxi ordered the shopping guide behind her. She picked the latest styles that were popular this year for Lin Feng. After picking 3 pieces in a row, Zhang Yuxi gave up. Okay, these 3 first. Honey, go try them on. Lin Feng took the clothes and walked into the fitting room. When he came out, he had become a different look. Originally, Lin Feng's figure was very perfect. But with the contrast of these clothes, he looked even more handsome and handsome. Zhang Yuxi was amazed. Looks good. Lin Feng looked in the mirror and was very satisfied with Zhang Yuxi's ability to choose clothes. Then he tried on 2 other clothes. The effect was still outstanding. The female clerks in the store looked at Lin Feng with hot eyes. Zhang Yuxi waved her hand and said to the shopping guide, "Pack these 3 clothes for me." Seeing this, the shopping guide couldn't help but get excited. I met a rich woman. Leave the clothing store. Zhang Yuxi seemed to be addicted to buying clothes for Lin Feng. Husband, you haven't bought shoes and hats yet. Let's go, your wife will choose for you. Lin Feng had no objection. As long as Zhang Yuxi chose it, he would wear it. After a round of shopping, Zhang Yuxi said with a smile, "My husband looks handsome in everything he wears. I don't know how many people envy me." Lin Feng smiled, "Then I'll leave my clothes to you in the future." "No problem." Zhang Yuxi patted her chest. They kept shopping until 6 o'clock in the evening, and then they returned to the villa. Zhang Yuxi only bought a pair of shoes, the rest were all Lin Feng's. She hummed a song, took out the clothes, and neatly stacked them in the closet. "Husband, next time I will buy you a suit. You will definitely look good in it." "Okay." Lin Feng said he had no objection. He asked Zhang Yuxi while feeding the baby with egg custard. "Wife, when are we going back?" "Tomorrow? I can't wait to go to Michang to have a look." Lin Feng nodded and agreed to this idea. After careful calculation, there are less than 15 days before the Chinese New Year. If we don't go back, the highway will be jammed. After dinner, Lin Feng called Zhou Qilin. Tell her about going home. Zhou Qilin was very excited when she heard that her son would be back tomorrow. Okay, then I'll wait for you to come back for dinner." Yes. After sorting out the baby's things, Lin Feng looked at Fifi and thought about how to take it back. Although it is a cat. But for safety reasons, it is better to get a leash for it. After a busy night, it was time to go to bed. Zhang Yuxi was still discussing with Lin Feng whether they had missed anything. "It's okay. If there's anything missing, we can just buy it." Zhang Yuxi nodded, thinking that what Lin Feng said made sense. Chapter 95 set off for home. Before leaving, the couple closed the doors and windows. Then they went to the southern new city and handed the keys to the villa to Lan. They asked her to live in the villa with her parents during the new year. And Lan hugged Zhang Yuxi, and then watched Lin Feng and the others leave. Lin Feng drove the RV and first went to the gas station to fill up a full tank of gas. Then he waited for the babies to fall asleep and put them on the bed. There was plenty of space. Fei squatted under the bar and kept meowing. It seemed that he was not quite used to the new environment. Leaving the gas station, turning on the navigation, the journey home began. Lin Feng asked Zhang Yuxi while driving. "Wife, how do you feel?" "Not bad. It's windy outside, be careful not to catch a cold." "Well, husband, you drive carefully, I will take care of myself." From Yangcheng, take the highway and drive to Micheng. It takes about 6 hours. The whole family is in the car, and Lin Feng dare not be distracted. Otherwise, if there is a car accident at that time, it will be terrible. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Lin Feng drove and arrived at the door on time. Lin Dashin's investment failed and he even lost his house. He could only move back to his old house. There was no parking lot, so Lin Feng had to park his car on the roadside. Lin Dashin, Zhou Qilin and his youngest son Lin Ji were already waiting for them downstairs. The old men and women next door were also joining in the fun downstairs. Old Lin, I heard your son got married. Are they coming back today? How does your daughter-in-law look like? Is she pretty? Oh, I think I heard a car. Is she coming soon? These were all former neighbors. Now they moved back and everyone got along very well. Just as everyone was talking about it, a Mercedes-Benz RV drove over from a distance and stopped on the roadside. Lin Dashin and Zhou Qilin were still looking for Lin Feng's BMW. They never thought that Lin Feng and others would be in this RV. Zhou Qilin said worriedly, "It's almost 7 o'clock, why haven't they come yet? It's getting dark." Lin Dashin comforted, "They are with their children, so they will definitely be slower." Lin Ji also said, "Yes, Mom, don't worry, my brother and the others must have been delayed on the way." At this time, the sharp-eyed uncles and aunts saw Lin Feng and others coming out of the RV and started discussing again. "Hey, is the person who got out of the car Lin Feng? He looks like him, but I remember he didn't seem to be this tall before." Yes, he seems to have become more handsome." After Lin Feng got out of the car, he shouted to the distance, "Mom and Dad, Xiaoji." The Lin family members only then reacted and hurried over. Zhou Qilin looked at a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 315 in front of her and said in surprise, "Lin Feng, you changed your car again. What kind of car is this?" Lin Dashin said with a smile, "This is a motorhome. Your mother and I were worried that her grandson would feel uncomfortable. Now we feel relieved with this car." Lin Ji smiled and said, "Brother." Lin Feng nodded, "You have grown taller and more handsome." Lin Ji was a little embarrassed. Compared with Lin Feng, his appearance is far behind. At this time, the grandpas and aunts who were watching the fun also gathered around and pointed at Lin Feng's motorhome. "Look at this car, if I am not mistaken, it should be called Pentium, right?" "What Pentium?" "This is called Mercedes-Benz. Wow, it's so big, it should not be cheap. There are sofas, reclining chairs, and beds inside. It's amazing. Nowadays, society is really becoming more and more advanced. There is nothing that cannot be made." Lin Feng opened the car door and prepared to take the babies out. When they were about to arrive, Zhang Yuxi put on her makeup beautifully, looking very noble and elegant. Lin Feng and she took the baby out and praised her. "Wife, you are so pretty." Zhang Yuxi was very upset. Zhou Qilin held the first baby, Lin Dashin held the second baby, Zhang Yuxi held the third baby, and Lin Feng held the fourth baby. The whole family was in order. The grandpa and aunt who came to join in the fun were stunned when they saw the 4 cute babies and couldn't help but praise them. "Old Lindsay, you are so blessed. You gave birth to 4 children in one pregnancy. Now your Lin family will not have to worry about having no descendants. Look at these 4 big fat boys. They are so cute. They will definitely be handsome men and beautiful women when they grow up. I am so envious. The eldest son is married, has children, and even drives a Pentium. Now there is only the youngest son. And this wife is so beautiful, like a female star in the movie. Lin Feng, this boy, will be blessed in the future. Oh. How come there is a cat? This cat is so fat. I heard that if you have children, it is best not to keep a cat. Be careful that the children will be hurt." Amid the envy of the neighbors, the Lin family held the children and walked directly into the house. Lin Feng reminded Zhang Yuxi behind him, "There is no light on the stairs, wife, be careful." Seeing this, Lin Ji, who was walking in front carrying things, turned on the light of his mobile phone to light the way for Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng. They walked this road every day and had long been accustomed to it. Zhang Yuxi said gratefully, "Thank you, Xiaoji." "You're welcome, sister-in-law." Before coming, Zhang Yuxi asked Lin Feng why Lin Ji didn't come to the half-year-old party. Then she found out that Lin Ji was in the 3rd year of high school and had a lot of academic pressure. That's why he didn't come to the baby's half-year-old party. Lin Feng didn't take it seriously. After all, students should focus on their studies. The Lin family now lives in an old house with a total of 6 floors. There are 4 households per floor and no elevator. There is only a faint light at the entrance of the corridor. Come in quickly. Zhou Qilin hurriedly shouted after opening the door, and also took slippers for Zhang Yuxi. It was a pair of pink women's slippers, very beautiful. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly said, "Thank you, Mom." "What are you thanking me for? We are all family. You go to the living room and sit for a while. I'll go to the kitchen to heat up the food and we can eat soon." Lin Feng knew where the bedroom was. It was the first room on the right after entering the door, and there was also a bathroom inside. "Wife, this is our room. Come, take off your coat." Zhang Yuxi took off her coat while looking around the room. The whole room, as well as the living room outside, were decorated in a very old-fashioned style. They should have been there for more than a decade. However, one could tell at a glance that Zhou Qilin had carefully cleaned up this bedroom. The curtains were new, and the sheets, quilt covers, mosquito nets, and other things were all new. Next to the bed, there was a large crib that could accommodate 4 babies. Just then, Lin Ji came over with his luggage and asked, "Brother, sister-in-law, where should we put these?" Zhang Yuxi hurriedly said, "Just put them on the floor." "Thank you, Xiaoji." Xiaoji nodded and left the room a little embarrassed. "I'll go to the kitchen to help." Zhang Yuxi sighed, "Your brother is very sensible." Lin Feng took off his coat, found his old clothes from the closet and put them on. He has always been a good kid. Zhang Yuxi turned around and found that Lin Ji had come back again. She asked with a smile, "What's wrong?" Lin Ji looked at Lin Feng's back and said, "Mom said it's time to eat." "Okay, we'll be there right away." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 Death Issue. Lin Feng opened the suitcase and took out all the baby's things. Of course, there was also Fifi's rice bowl and cat food. After Fifi got home, he ran to the living room to accompany the babies. Lin Feng went to the kitchen and cooked some complimentary food for the babies. In the kitchen, the food was almost ready. On the balcony outside, sausages and bacon for the new year were hung. Zhou Qilin served the last dish and asked, "Where's Yuxi?" "She is changing clothes. By the way, take one of my coats for her to wear, so that she won't get her clothes dirty." "Which one?" "That red cotton padded jacket." Lin Feng found a big red cotton padded jacket in the cabinet. He gave it to Zhang Yuxi. "Mom asked you to wear this at home, it's warm." Zhang Yuxi put on the red cotton padded jacket, looked in the mirror, and was very satisfied. Then, she and Lin Feng went to the living room. Lin Feng held the complimentary food and fed the babies. Zhang Yuxi was stunned, not knowing what to do, so she also came to Lin Feng. Zhou Qilin brought out the last dish. "You two hurry up and eat, I'll feed the grandson." Lin Feng was not polite. "Mom, then you feed Abeo and Erbeo first, and then Sanbeo and Sebeo." "Why? The 2 younger ones don't eat well." "Is that so?" "Mom knows, you hurry up and eat, the food will get cold later." Lin Deshan also said, "You guys hurry up, your mom is here." Lin Ji also said, "Brother, sister-in-law, come and eat." Lin Feng put down the supplementary food and said to Zhang Yuxi, "Let's go." Zhang Yuxi nodded and followed Lin Feng obediently. Tonight's meal is very rich. In addition to braised pork elbows, sweet and sour pork ribs, and braised carp, there are also several cold dishes. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi sat down. Lin Deshan saw that his daughter-in-law was reserved and comforted her. "Yuxi, just treat it as your own home, don't be embarrassed." Zhang Yuxi smiled, "Okay, Dad." Meow. Just then, a cat's cry came from the living room. Zhou Qilin asked, "Is this cat obedient? Will it hurt the baby?" "Mom, don't worry. Fei Fei has a good personality, and I've already vaccinated it." Lin Feng said to the living room. Zhou Qilin wanted to say a few words to ask Lin Feng not to keep a cat. But after thinking about it, forget it. Young people nowadays don't like their parents nagging. And they all like to keep cats and dogs. Maybe it's the characteristics of this generation of young people. Zhou Qilin fed the baby while paying attention to Fei Fei's behavior. Fei Fei squatted aside, staring at the 4 babies closely, like a guard. It doesn't look like a cat at all, but more like a dog. At the dinner table, Lin Dashan heard the conversation between the mother and son and interrupted. This cat is quite human. Just now I was sitting in the living room watching TV, and it stayed with the baby all the time, not leaving a step. And it's not afraid of strangers, it seems to know that we won't hurt it. Lin Feng told his father about Fei Fei's interesting stories. Lin Dashan and Lin Ji listened with relish. Zhang Yuxi lowered her head to eat, feeling inexplicably touched. Next year, I'll go back to my parents' home for the new year. Lin Dashan heard that his son and Lan had opened a restaurant together, with a daily turnover of 200,000. He was very pleased and completely relieved about Lin Feng. Lin Ji ate very quickly, stood up and said, "You guys eat, I'll go see the baby." Lin Dashan smiled and said, "Go ahead, be careful. Your aunt, second uncle and third uncle heard that you and Yuxi are back. They said they would come over for dinner another day, just as if it were a reunion dinner in advance." Okay. As soon as they finished their meal, Zhou Qilin called out, "Oh, Anan, why are you eating so slowly? The food is almost cold, I'll go heat it up." Lin Dashan got up and went to the living room to entertain his grandson. Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng cleaned up the dishes. Lin Ji took the initiative to say, "Brother, sister-in-law, let me do it." Zhang Yuxi shook her head, "It's okay, I can do it." "Wife, you go look after the children, I'll do it." The couple has been together for so long that they have already reached a tacit understanding. "Okay, then thank you for your hard work, husband, and Zioji too." The two brothers were washing dishes in the kitchen, and the atmosphere was very quiet. Lin Feng took the lead in breaking the silence between the two. "How was the exam this time?" Lin Ji smiled, "Not bad." Lin Feng comforted him, "Don't put too much pressure on yourself, the college entrance examination is not the only way out, and the results can't determine anything." Lin Ji nodded, "Yes." Lin Feng continued, "Now I have a little money, even if you don't get into college, I can support you to study abroad." "Brother." Lin Ji's voice was a little choked up when he said brother. He didn't expect that Lin Feng would be so good to him. When he was a child, because his parents always favored Lin Feng, Lin Ji felt a little unhappy. After all, he was his parents' biological son, so he had conflicts with Lin Feng. But he never expected that Lin Feng didn't hate him at all. "Brother, I'm sorry. When I was young, I was ignorant and often had conflicts with you." Lin Feng smiled and said, "I didn't take it to heart, I won't be angry with you." Lin Ji forced a smile. "Brother, actually I want to go to Tsinghua University. But with my current grades, it's just a foolish dream. Will you laugh at me?" Lin Feng said in a deep voice, "Why should I laugh at you? It's a good thing to have a dream." Lin Ji smiled foolishly. "Work hard. No matter what you do, I will support you." Hearing Lin Feng's words, Lin Ji's eyes were completely red. The two brothers were chatting in the kitchen, and Zhou Qilin was hiding outside to eavesdrop. Completely forgot that there was a daughter-in-law at home. Lin Dashan couldn't stand it anymore, and went over to glare at Zhou Qilin. Zhou Qilin just remembered. "Oh, there is a daughter-in-law at home." So she returned to the living room awkwardly. Zhang Yuxi pretended not to see anything and coaxed the babies. It was almost 10 o'clock, and the babies were sleepy. They were looking around. Zhou Qilin asked with a smile, "Are you looking for Grandma?" "No, they are looking for Lin Feng." "Honey, the babies are looking for you." "Okay, I'll be there soon." Lin Feng wiped his hands and walked out of the kitchen. When the babies saw him, they grinned. Zhou Qilin said with a smile, "Hurry up and take the children to bed. It's already this late." "Okay. Mom and Dad, Zioji, let's go to bed." Zhang Yuxi also said, "Then let's go to bed." The babies came to a strange environment, not knowing whether they were familiar with the bed or the place, and they slept uneasy. "Wife, you go to sleep, I'll just look after the babies. I slept in the RV today, and I'm not sleepy now." Zhang Yuxi patted the bed. "Honey, come here, I want to ask you something." Seeing this, Lin Feng showed an ambiguous smile. "Wife, do you know what you looked like just now?" "What?" "Wearing a big flowered jacket, let me come up." Zhang Yuxi eyed him and said coquettishly, "Let me ask you, is your first love also in Michen?" Lin Feng looked a little helpless. "Yes, what's wrong?" I didn't expect this kind of fatal question. In the end, it came to me. Haha, I guessed it. Zhang Yuxi pouted, "You are so handsome. When you were in high school, there must be a lot of people chasing you, right?" "Wife, you think too much?" Lin Feng combed her hair. "Actually not many, only a dozen or so." Lin Feng joked, and then directly blocked Zhang Yuxi's mouth. Use practical actions to stop Zhang Yuxi from continuing to ask. Chapter 97, Meeting a High School Classmate. The next morning, Zhang Yuxi was awakened by the sound of people talking outside. She took out her cell phone and checked the time. It was almost 10 o'clock. Oh my god. It was the first day I came to my mother-in-law's house, but I slept so late. What would they think of me? Zhang Yuxi hurriedly dressed up and walked out of the room. Zhou Qilin's voice came from the living room. She was washing dishes. Yuxi is up. There's breakfast on the table. Go and eat it. Lin Ji was there too, as were Lin Deshan and Lin Feng. She sorted out her emotions and said, "Okay, Mom. Lin Feng, come here. I have something to tell you." Lin Feng got up and went back to the room. He saw Zhang Yuxi looking at him with shame and anger on her face. He was a little puzzled. What's wrong? Zhang Yuxi punched him with her pink fist. You're still asking me what's wrong? It's this late, and you didn't even wake me up. All of you should get up. I'm still sleeping. What will my mother-in-law think? They must think I'm a pig. Lin Feng smiled and let her lose her temper. Zhang Yuxi was angry. You're still laughing. Okay, I won't laugh anymore. Go eat quickly, they won't think you're a pig. What should I do? I'm so angry. After breakfast, Zhou Qilin said to Lin Feng with a smile. Lin Feng, take Yuxi for a walk around the neighborhood. The babies will stay at home, your dad and I will take care of them. At this time, there was still more than an hour before dinner. It would be nice to leave the babies at home and go downstairs for a walk. Zhang Yuxi changed her clothes, put on some light makeup in front of the mirror, and slightly fixed her hair. Lin Feng stood at the door, folding his arms and watching. Zhang Yuxi packed up and turned around to see Lin Feng looking at her with a smile. She said coquettishly, "What are you looking at? Let's go." "Wife, you are so beautiful, why don't you let me see you?" Lin Feng joked with a smile. Zhang Yuxi blushed and picked up the bag on the table. "Let's go." Micheng is located in the northeast of Nanayu province. It is said that southerners rely on their integrity to survive the winter. After all, it is necessary to resist magic damage, especially for people in Micheng. Lin Feng held her hand. "Let's go, I'll take you to the neighborhood." "Okay." Lin Feng and the other person went downstairs. The aunt downstairs saw them and gossiped. "Hey, are you going out to play? Is your child at home? Well, let's go out for a walk. This is the old city, and there is not much to go shopping." The two walked hand in hand slowly. Lin Feng told Zhang Yuxi about his memories here. Unknowingly, the two came to a newly opened supermarket. "Let's go to the supermarket." Lin Feng pushed the shopping cart and discussed with Zhang Yuxi whether to buy a fish to take back. The supermarket is not big, with a total of 2 floors. The first floor sells food, and the second floor sells daily necessities. The two people are very good looking. No matter where they go, they are the focus of everyone's attention. Now they have become accustomed to it. Lin Feng. At this moment, a man's voice suddenly came from behind. Lin Feng turned his head and looked at it, looking a little puzzled. "You are?" Seeing Lin Feng's face, the other party was stunned. "Oh my god, it's you. I knew you were handsome before. How come you've become so handsome after not seeing you for so many years?" "I'm Bao Wen, nicknamed Xiao Baozi. Your high school classmate. We met a few times after graduation." When he mentioned it, Lin Feng remembered. "It's you, why are you here?" Bao Wen said with a smile, "I just came to the supermarket to shop. This is..." Lin Feng hugged Zhang Yuxi. "This is my wife." Bao Wen slapped his forehead. "Hello sister-in-law, you call me Bao Wen, Lin Feng and I are high school classmates." Zhang Yuxi nodded. "Hello. Sister-in-law, you don't know. Lin Feng has excellent grades in our school, and he is also the class flower in our class." "Really?" "Of course. In a blink of an eye, you're married, and I don't even have a girlfriend." At this point, Bao Wen took out his mobile phone. "Brother, leave your widget, how about we have a drink when you are free?" They left each other contact information. Lin Feng said, "I'm busy, I'm afraid I won't be able to drink with you then." Bao Wen waved his hand. It's okay, just chat." Then they exchanged pleasantries for a while. Lin Feng put his arm around Zhang Yuxi and walked towards the seafood section of the supermarket. Let's go buy a fish. I'll give you fish with bean paste tonight." Zhang Yuxi has gotten used to Lin Feng hugging her in public. Seeing the envious eyes of the people around her, She was very proud and happy. Even a little proud. Bao Wen behind him frequently looked back at the two of them. Oh my god, Lin Feng has become so handsome? And he has found a woman who is more beautiful than a female star as his wife? Did they say that his family has no money? In high school, the class monitor created a QQ group. Over the years, some have quit the group and some have died. After graduating from high school, everyone entered society, and some are in college. At this time, the class monitor created another WeChat group. Most of the people in the class were pulled in. But at that time, Lin Feng did not join the WeChat group because he was poor. Besides, all the classmates in the class actually knew about Lin Feng's family affairs. When he was in the first year of high school, Lin Feng's family was quite rich. Lin Dashan relied on his own efforts and did some small business at the same time, and he was doing well in Micheng. But because of the failed investment, he even lost his house. Now he still owes some debts. After Lin Feng left, Bao Wen immediately took out his mobile phone and shouted in the group, and tagged everyone. Now there are many high school classmates in this group, who are active in Micheng. I just ran into Lin Feng and his girlfriend. Damn, he is so handsome now. His girlfriend is even more beautiful than a female star. After a while, the lifeless group suddenly became active. Baozi, what are you kidding? Is it true? Send a picture up and let's see. Yes, what are you talking about without a picture? Faced with the questioning of his classmates, Bao Wen also became anxious. He picked up his mobile phone and wanted to take a picture to send to the group, but found that Lin Feng had gone far away. So he could only sigh helplessly and leave the supermarket. At this time, Lin Feng brought Zhang Yuxi to the aquatic area of the supermarket. He bought a grass carp, and then bought a bottle of pixin bean paste in the seasoning area. After a round of shopping, it seemed that there was nothing to buy. Hubby, for the new year, should we buy some peanuts and melon seeds? Zhang Yuxi suddenly asked. When I was in Shanghai before, Zhao Lizian was the one who prepared these things. To be precise, it was the nanny at home who prepared them. I don't know what other people's families have to prepare for the new year besides preparing New Year's goods. Lin Feng thought for a while. I'll ask my mother to see if she has prepared it. Fortunately, he called to ask, and Zhou Qilin had already prepared it. So Lin Feng bought a box of cherries and prepared to take them back for his parents to try. Zhang Yuxi saw that there were red envelopes for sale, and patted Lin Feng on the shoulder. Hubby, red envelopes. That's right. The red envelopes haven't been bought yet. Lin Feng walked to the shelf and took a thick stack of red envelopes. On the way back, he passed by a bank. Zhang Yuxi asked, Honey, do we need to withdraw some cash? Zhang Yuxi's words reminded him. How can we give red envelopes during the Chinese New Year without cash? Although mobile payment is very convenient now, there should still be a sense of ritual. Honey, did you make a list of red envelopes before? That is, a list of red envelopes for relatives' children. Of course, people like Linji who are still in school will also receive red envelopes. Zhang Yuxi suddenly became a little embarrassed. Honey, I just wrote it casually. Let me see, I won't say anything to you. Zhang Yuxi handed the list to Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at the list. The younger ones who didn't go to school got 800 yuan each. The older ones who went to school got 2,000 yuan each. A total of 100,000 should be enough, which is within Lin Feng's ability. Withdraw more. In case of emergency. Lin Feng knew that he had nearly 10 million in savings. But he didn't know exactly how much. Chapter 98. This child is really promising. Arriving at the bank, Lin Feng found the counter staff. He told her that he was going to withdraw 100,000 yuan in cash. The counter lady took the bank card and put it on the machine to take a look. She immediately showed a surprised expression. Sir, I just took a look. I found that you meet the qualifications of our bank's VIP customers. Do you want me to help you upgrade, so that you can handle business with priority when you come to the bank in the future? Lin Feng nodded. Okay, then I'll trouble you. The counter lady smiled and said, No trouble, this is our duty. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were taken to the reception room, and the counter lady handed over tea. At this time, the fish moved. The counter lady was startled. Give it to me first. Lin Feng handed her the fresh keeping bag. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh my god. Such a young multimillionaire. Not only is his appearance amazing, but his personality is also so good. Moreover, he is still a house husband. He carries the dishes by himself, And he also carries his wife's bag by himself. What a good man. At this moment, the bank manager walked in. He was stunned when he saw Lin Feng. You are Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't expect that the other party knew him. Well, who are you? The manager smiled. I know your father, and I met you a few times when I was a child. Don't you remember? Hearing this, Lin Feng suddenly remembered. So it's Uncle Xiao. I didn't expect to meet you here. Have you been transferred to this bank? Xiao Jianmu nodded and looked at Zhang Yuxi. Is this your niece-in-law? You are lucky, kid. Zhang Yuxi greeted politely. Hello, Uncle Xiao. Xiao Jianmu didn't waste any words. Our bank has decided to upgrade you to VIP Black Gold card based on your situation. Zhang Yuxi immediately turned to look at Lin Feng. Because Zhang Fuiong has a Black Gold card, Zhang Yuxi knows the conditions for the Black Gold card. Without tens of millions of deposits, it is impossible to get it. Xiao Jianmu took out a booklet and handed it to Lin Feng. Black Gold card users can choose their own card number. Xiao Lin, see if there's anything you like. Lin Feng took the booklet and handed it to Zhang Yuxi. Prepare to let her choose. Finally, Zhang Yuxi picked a lucky number. The last digit was 1688. Here is the contract. Xiaolin, take a look. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me. If it's okay, just sign it. Xiao Jianmu handed the contract and the selected card number to the counter lady and asked her to do it. The procedure for applying for the Black Gold card is more complicated. It takes about 20 minutes. Taking advantage of this gap, Xiao Jianmu continued to talk to Lin Feng. Xiao Lin, let me tell you now. What privileges can you enjoy with a Black Gold card? Lin Feng nodded. Uncle Xiao, you tell me. With a Black Gold card, cardholders can enjoy luxury hotel benefits. In many star-rated hotels, you can enjoy free fitness experience and VIP price check-in. You can also enjoy free VIP services at domestic airports and free VIP services at airports around the world, and you can bring 2 accompanying persons each time. In addition, there are many medical care and security benefits. As an important identity identifier for private banking customers, as long as the cardholder holds this card, he can enjoy high-end private banking customer service at outlets around the world. Xiao Jianmu said a lot. Lin Feng listened to some of the things he could use. After listening to Xiao Jianmu's explanation, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh in his heart. It's great to be rich. Soon, the counter lady came in. She respectfully handed the Black Gold card to Lin Feng. Mr. Lin, this is your card. Thank you. You're welcome. Xiao Jianmu patted Lin Feng on the shoulder. Young man, you can do it. You are young and promising. Treat me to a meal some other day. No problem. Coming out of the bank, Lin Feng could still vaguely hear Xiao Jianmu's voice of emotion inside. Looking at the time, it was almost 12 o'clock. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and took a shortcut home. When they got home, Zhou Qilin had already prepared the meal. You're back. Go wash your hands and eat. Zhang Yuxi washed her hands and prepared to go see the baby first. But Zhou Qilin called her. They have already drunk the milk powder. Come and eat. Oh. Zhang Yuxi nodded and sat next to Lin Feng. At the dining table, Zhou Qilin suggested that we take advantage of the afternoon time. Everyone worked together to clean up the living room and make a play area for the baby. Lin Dashan nodded in agreement. Okay. Lin Feng said, Mom, then Yuxi and I will go buy the materials. You guys clean up the living room first. Zhou Qilin thought about it. Okay, then you can go to the big supermarket to buy it, or go to the mother and baby area in the mall to buy it. Don't be afraid of spending money. We want to use the best for the baby. Lin Feng nodded. Even if Zhou Qilin didn't say it, he knew that he couldn't treat his baby badly. After dinner, Zhou Qilin cleaned up the table. Seeing that Lin Feng and the others were about to go out, she hurriedly said, Lin Feng, you drive your dad's car. Your RV is too big. Lin Dashan also said, yes, you drive. I'll stay at home in the afternoon and won't go anywhere. Lin Feng took the car keys from Lin Dashan. Before leaving, he asked Lin Ji, Xiao Ji, do you want to come with me? No, brother, I'm going out with my classmates in the afternoon. Lin Feng nodded, okay. Everyone left. Lin Dashan pulled his wife aside, looking mysterious. Zhou Qilin shook off his hand. What are you doing? I'm watching my grandson sleeping. Oh, these 4 babies are so cute. Zhou Qilin didn't want to leave them for a moment. Just now, Xiao Jianmu called me suddenly. Guess what it is? Zhou Qilan choked. We have paid off our bills. Why did he call? Seeing Zhou Qilan's nervous look, Lin Dashan chuckled. It's not a bad thing. Don't be nervous, this matter is related to Lin Feng. Guess again. Zhou Qilan couldn't guess it no matter how hard she tried. She was immediately anxious. Don't beat around the bush. Tell me what's going on. Xiao Jianmu told me that Lin Feng just went to his bank to withdraw money. Their bank upgraded Lin Feng's bank card to a black gold card. Zhou Qilan frowned and began to ponder this sentence. Black gold card? Zhou Qilan had some impression of this thing. She asked curiously, does my father-in-law have one of these black gold cards? I remember you told me before that this black gold card has a deposit requirement. Lin Dashan smiled from ear to ear. Yes, our Lin Feng is rich now. At least tens of millions of dollars. Lao Xiao even asked me to treat him to a meal. Zhou Qilan was also very excited when she heard this. This kid is really promising. Chapter 99, A World for Two. Lin Dashan's car. It was a second-hand Toyota Vios. After going bankrupt, Lin Dashan not only sold his house. He also sold his beloved car, the Crown, to pay off his debts. Lin Feng drove the car towards the city center. As the Chinese New Year was approaching, more and more people were returning home. Many vehicles with out-of-town license plates could be seen along the way. As they drove, they got stuck in a traffic jam. Lin Feng looked out the window to see what was happening ahead. It was estimated that they would not be able to leave for a while. On the viaduct, Zhang Yuxi opened the car window and looked at the scenery outside. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and suddenly found a message. Bao Wen had already added him to a WeChat group. But he was very unfamiliar with the avatars in it. After he joined the group, everyone came out to greet him. Lin Feng only replied, "Hello everyone." Seeing the car in front moving slowly, Lin Feng put down his phone and reminded Zhang Yuxi. "Wife, I'm going to drive. Do you want to close the window a little bit?" Zhang Yuxi didn't want to catch a cold during the Chinese New Year, so she obediently closed the car window. Lin Feng's phone kept ringing, showing that someone had sent him a message. Zhang Yuxi asked, "Honey, can I see your phone?" "Yes. It's not a secret." Zhang Yuxi happily picked up the phone. It turned out to be a message from the group, and everyone wanted to invite Lin Feng out for dinner. "Honey, they said they want to invite you out for dinner." Lin Feng looked at the road ahead. It turned out that there was a car accident ahead, which caused the traffic jam. Hearing Zhang Yuxi's words, Lin Feng replied, "Tell them to make an appointment another day." "Oh." Zhang Yuxi replied to the message for Lin Feng. "Honey, do you have friends in Micheng?" "Yes, but they are not so close." There was a traffic jam ahead again. Lin Feng took advantage of this gap to chat with Zhang Yuxi. "My family was well off before, and many of my classmates liked to hang out with me. But later, my dad's investment failed and he was in debt. My friends gradually distanced themselves from me. Plus, after graduating from high school, everyone went their separate ways. Some went to college, some went to work, and a few of my good friends didn't keep in touch after graduation." Lin Feng said it calmly. But Zhang Yuxi could sense a hint of loneliness from his tone. She held Lin Feng's hand tightly. "Husband, you still have me and the babies." Lin Feng smiled. "Yes. In life, more friends mean more paths. Sometimes you need to get together to enhance your relationship. Since you're all back, it's nice to meet old classmates and reminisce." Hearing Zhang Yuxi's words, Lin Feng glanced at her. Is his wife afraid that he's too lonely? At this moment, the car in front started to move. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator and said with a smile, "Let's finish our afternoon business first." They drove to the city center. There's a large chain supermarket here. After searching for a long time, he finally found a parking lot and parked the car. Lin Feng looked around. There's a guoka shop nearby. It's very delicious. "Come on, I'll take you to try it." Lin Feng held her hand. "It should be right in front, if it's still open." Less than 2 minutes later, he saw guoka shop, which was doing very good business. There was a long queue at the door. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to queue up. The loving look of the two was enviable. Soon it was Lin Feng's turn, and he ordered 2 guoka stuffed with pickled mustard greens and meat. Lin Feng urged Zhang Yuxi, "Eat quickly, guoka tastes better while it's hot." Zhang Yuxi took a bite and it was indeed crispy and fragrant. The pickled mustard greens inside were also delicious. After eating the guoka, Lin Feng felt a little thirsty. "Wife, Do you want milk tea? Zhang Yuxi heard this and her eyes lit up immediately. Okay, okay. It's winter vacation now. Almost every milk tea shop is crowded. Stores like Coco, Dian, and Nizu are in a hot order mode. There is no other way. They can only wait in line. But even so, Zhang Yuxi is still very happy. Because this is the only time that the two of them went shopping without their children. Since they had a baby, the two of them have never lived alone. But today, they can be like a couple in love. Go shopping together. Kill time in the milk tea shop together. This feeling is something they have never had before. After waiting in line for half an hour, it was finally their turn to pick up the order. Zhang Yuxi ordered coconut pearl milk tea, and Lin Feng came over to taste it. So sweet. Zhang Yuxi took a sip, not bad. The two people's show of affection instantly attracted everyone's attention. Handsome man and beautiful woman. What a match made in heaven. After eating and drinking, the two went straight to the supermarket. When they came to the baby area, Lin Feng found that the fences and mats here were more than 10 yuan more expensive than those on the internet. But Lin Feng didn't care, he was rich and willful. After buying the fence and mat, the couple bought some toys and clothes for the babies. Parents always think of their babies when they see something nice. The shopping guide said with a smile, you too, as long as you spend more than 200 yuan, you can enjoy our free delivery service. Lin Feng activated the milk powder identification skill and bought a can of milk powder. It just collected 200 yuan. Please pay here. They seemed to be in an independent area and did not go to the cashier. Please fill in the delivery address and recipient's phone number. Okay, we will send someone to deliver it now. After the delivery, our staff will call you to report. Lin Feng looked at the time and calculated the baby's bedtime. In addition to eating complimentary foods, the two can still play for another 2 hours. Let's go, while I don't have the baby with me today. I'll take you to a world for two. The first stop was the amusement park. The two played the roller coaster, the pendulum, the pirate ship, all of them. Lin Feng found that Zhang Yuxi looked delicate on the surface. But when she played with these things, she was crazy. Lin Feng was about to vomit from playing, but she still dragged Lin Feng to play the roller coaster again. Finally, the two left the amusement park with messy hair. The wind had already started to blow outside. Lin Feng buttoned up Zhang Yuxi's clothes and asked with concern, "Are you cold?" Zhang Yuxi shook her head, "No." After playing so much just now, her blood was almost boiling. But Lin Feng's meticulous care for her made her feel very warm. Next, Lin Feng was going to take her to the mall. Although it was not the new year yet, the mall was already crowded. It was in this crowd. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi ran into an old acquaintance. Bao Wen and two couples came towards them. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi did not see them. Bao Wen was the first to notice them. There was no way, the two of them were so good looking that it was hard not to notice them. Brother, sister-in-law. Bao Wen walked over and looked at the two with a smile. What a coincidence, we meet again. Micheng is a small 4th or 5th tier city. The city center is so small, it is normal to run into each other in the mall. Lin Feng looked at the two couples behind Bao Wen. He had some impression of one of them, they should be classmates from the next class. Look at Lin Feng like this. He definitely won't recognize us, ha ha ha. If Bao Wen hadn't told me, I would never have believed it, this person is Lin Feng. Yes, we are getting older, but he is getting more handsome. Chapter 100 My wife is a university teacher. Just then, one of the boys came over. Lin Feng, my name is Sun Yu. When I was in the first year of high school, I sat behind you. Do you remember? The woman standing next to him was his girlfriend. She looked petite, but she was very charming when she smiled, and her figure was also very attractive. Hello, I am Sun Yu's girlfriend, my name is Wang Tian. Another couple was also a boyfriend and girlfriend. However, they were much better than Sun Yu and Wang Tian in terms of both appearance and temperament. But compared with Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, they were still a step behind. Lin Feng, I was your classmate in the 3rd year of high school. Zhang Yanmin, do you remember? Lin Feng remembered, and his smile became sincere. Zhang Yanmin also smiled, knowing that Lin Feng remembered. The one next to you is my girlfriend in high school, Su Kiki, do you remember? Su Kiki's personality is completely opposite to Wang Tian. Whether it is appearance or temperament, she is the type of lady. She smiled and greeted Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, a little shy. Lin Feng nodded, Didn't you break up at the beginning? Zhang Anmin coughed. Well, later when I was in college. We got back together, and now we are in a long-distance relationship. Zhang Anmin looked at Zhang Yuxi. Who is this? Why don't you introduce her to us? Lin Feng hugged Zhang Yuxi, his eyes full of tenderness. She is my wife and the mother of the children, Zhang Yuxi. When this was said, everyone was shocked. Although they knew that the two must be in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. But when they heard Lin Feng say that she was his wife, and also, the mother of the children. Pay attention. There is a word men. Sun Yu, Zhang Anmin, Bao Wen and others shouted at the same time. Oh my god, you are already a father, and I, brother, have no marriage at all. Children? Lin Feng, how many children do you have? What a winner in life, with a wife and children, and I am still a single dog. Hearing their teasing, Zhang Yuxi smiled on the surface. But she was so shy in her heart. After joking, Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi. I still owe her a wedding, I'll treat you then. Zhang Anmin said seriously, it's a deal. Kiki and I will go to your wedding. Sun Yu suddenly suggested, let's find a place to eat at this time. Before meeting Lin Feng, they were discussing whether to go out for a meal. Zhang Anmin caught up with Lin Feng and said, brother, we finally met today, we must have a meal before leaving. Bao Wen was afraid that Lin Feng would not agree, so he followed. Yes, it's almost the new year, let's get together. Sun Yu smiled and said, don't worry, we won't get you drunk. Zhang Yuxi interrupted, I'm a little hungry. This means going, Lin Feng nodded, then let's go. Zhang Anmin raised his eyebrows at Lin Feng, as if to say, haha, you are afraid of your wife? At Zhang Anmin's suggestion, several people prepared to go to Haidaleo. Because Zhang Yuxi had to breastfeed, she could only eat clear soup pot. Seeing the three couples in front of him, Bao Wen sighed. You are all in pairs. Only I am still single, I am so tired. Sun Yu joked, what are you afraid of? The new year is the peak season for blind dates. Maybe you will be single. Wang Don, who was playing with her phone, smiled and replied, that's right. Zhang Anmin was ordering food and asked Su Kiki, what do you want to eat? Su Kiki smiled and said, whatever, I am not picky. Zhang Anmin handed the menu to Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at the dishes they marked and ordered a portion of duck blood for himself. Wife, what do you want to eat? Zhang Yuxi came over, this, and this. Then she whispered, I want to eat the bean curd fish you made. Lin Feng smiled and said, I'll make it for you tomorrow. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Zhang Anmin drank water and glanced at Lin Feng. Even a blind man can see that the two people are very affectionate. Especially the look in their eyes, it can't be deceived. I'm going to the bathroom. Zhang Yuxi stood up and said. Lin Feng put her code in order, took out his phone and called Zhou Qilin. Mom, I won't be back for dinner tonight. Well, I met a classmate and ate outside. You can cook the fish yourself, if not, put it in the refrigerator and I'll cook it tomorrow. Zhang Anmin, do you still remember him? Hearing this, Zhang Anmin hurried over, come on, let me talk to Auntie. Lin Feng handed him the phone. Zhang Anmin smiled and said, Auntie, I wish you a happy new year in advance. Well, Lin Feng and I met and we were eating hot pot. We don't drink, just have a normal gathering. Haha, okay. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Anmin returned the phone to Lin Feng. Auntie asked you to have a good gathering with us. She said that they would leave the children to them, so you don't have to worry about them. Zhang Anmin raised his eyebrows and whispered over. You are good. You are lucky to have a goddess-level wife. Lin Feng was not modest at all. Yes, it is a blessing. As he spoke, Zhang Yuxi came over. Lin Feng said to her, Mom, let us have fun, they will take care of the babies. Although Zhang Yuxi wanted to go back to see the children earlier, she didn't want to show it at this time and spoil everyone's fun. Soon, the dishes came. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi's cell phone rang. It was Tang Zifan calling. Teacher Tang, I wish you a happy new year in advance. Oh? You want to borrow our garage? Do you have Lan's phone number? She is living in Kehu Villa now, I'm going back to Micheng. There should be space. And Lan is currently driving my car, and there is a car parked in the garage. Your car should be able to park. Okay, it's just a small favor. During the conversation, Zhang Anmin and others were able to learn some information from the conversation. Kehu Villa? There is a garage, and several cars? Is Lin Feng rich now? After hanging up the phone, Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng, Teacher Tang wants to borrow our garage. There are too many people parking in their community. During the new year, there is no place to park. Then you can ask her to park at Rongtaehaoding. Teacher Tang is close to Kihu Villa, and she is parking for a long time. She will also go back to her hometown this year. Lin Feng said, oh, and said nothing more. At this time, Wang Bian suddenly asked, are you a teacher? Zhang Yuxi smiled and nodded. Junior high school or high school? University. Everyone gasped. Zhang Anmin's eyes widened and he was in awe of Lin Feng. Awesome. He even chased a university teacher. Of course, Zhang Yuxi was there, so they couldn't joke. After all, she was a university teacher. And they were still in college. For teachers, that was a deep fear from the bottom of their hearts. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.